Think yours is the most beautiful baby? Prove it, and you could win $5,000 in the Beautiful Babies Contest. It's free and open to babies 3 to 48 months at WGNAmerica.com.
Field on an overcast, mild and breezy Sunday afternoon. It's the Hyundai leadoff man on WGN Sports. The Cubs will turn to Big Z as they try to salvage a finale of this weekend series. Happy Father's Day, everyone. The Cubs hosting the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim here on WGN. And once again, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. The Cubs wrapping up a homestand. They're 3-5 to start it. A rough day yesterday, a 12-0 loss. They had as many errors, too, as they had hits against Jared Weaver and company. And after the game, Lou Piniella pretty much summed up the Cubs' play.
I can see us struggling with the bats, but, I mean, we just can't catch the ball all of a sudden. I mean, that's something that you should be able to do at the big league level, is catch the ball with consistency.
You have to talk to some of these guys.
I talked to them a little bit today, that's all. What am I supposed to do? Yell and scream? That does not criticize people. That doesn't do any good. You got to go out and play on the field. That's all you can do, is play on the field. And if not, you're going to get embarrassed like you did today.
You tried so many changes.
We've tried everything we have here. We've tried everything we've had here. We've pitched everybody, we've played everybody, we've changed lineups, we've done everything that I can humanly do to get this thing turned around. That's all I can do.
Was Weaver bad?
You know what? He's a good-looking young pitcher. He threw strikes. He had good stuff for 7 innings, but I mean, the wind's blowing out. 2 hits. I mean, this was a good hitter's ballpark today, and we had, I think, 5 left-hand hitters in the lineup.
Yeah, it was an ugly one for the Cubs. 12-0 the final, and the Cubs now find themselves tied for a season worst 8 games under 500 as they try to win here this afternoon. We'll take a break, but as we go to break, let's look in on today's Hyundai dealer of the game, Napleton's Hyundai in Calumet City. See the cars the experts are raving about at myhyundaichicago.com. The Hyundai leadoff man brought to you in part by Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. And by your Chicago Hyundai dealers. See the cars the experts are raving about at myhyundaichicago.com.
America has some amazing dives, and we're going to take off in the plane, check out a bunch of them. The places, the vibe, the food. Join us, the crew of Skydives, as we fly into the heart of America to see and taste the country's most amazing food. If you have a favorite food joint, cool. Log in to WGNAmerica.com. Tell us about it.
If we all lived here, we wouldn't have to worry about what's in our water. But most of us live here. So we need the Brita pitcher for healthier, clean-tasting water.
No, not now. Come on, please.
Oh, great.
Nothing's worse than a dead battery. And nothing's more reliable than a Duralast battery. Engineered to start day in and day out, even under the most extreme conditions. Duralast, proven tough, only at AutoZone.
The Craftsman Hammerhead, the only auto hammer worthy of the Craftsman name. Engineered to drive home nails with the touch of a button. More innovation, more great values. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
Everyone, I just saved a customer tons of money on his car insurance. So from now on, I'd like to be known as the Saver.
You know, the Esurance site gives out discounts every day. Should we call the website the Saver?
Website already has a nickname, people.
Which is?
Fred.
So you're the Saver. While the website, which gives out thousands of discounts every day, is called Fred.
Hey, Saver.
Yeah, that just happened.
Call today or go to esurance.com.
Aramis Ramirez did play last night, not with the Cubs, but with the single-A Peoria Chiefs of the Midwest League. He was 0 for 3, also was intentionally walked in the game, but Quad City's still in a playoff chase, so Aramis certainly understood. If all goes well again today, he feels good tomorrow. He should be activated by Wednesday when he is eligible to come off the disabled list in Seattle. Well, more from Lou from today's pregame meeting with the media. The defense has been a major problem for the Cubs. We'll talk more about the numbers coming up. But we can tell you the Cubs have allowed 8 unearned runs already in the first 2 games of this series. And Lou said this is a time you got to stay positive and you can't be overly critical with a team struggling.
The game is played on the field, okay? I don't believe in criticizing. I don't believe in getting on people. I really don't. Never have. But gosh, I mean, we work on things all the time, and we got to execute them during the game, period. And everybody's trying. I've never complained about lack of effort. Not one time in the 4 years that I've been here. Never have complained about lack of effort. We're trying, but boy, to win, you got to make it. You got to make plays. You got to hit with men in scoring position. Those are the things that you need to do, period.
Time now for Bob's AutoZone tip of the day. Today, Bob wants you to not forget to call Dad. Might want to do it here. We've got a few minutes before the first pitch. The tip of the day brought to you by AutoZone. For the auto parts, accessories, and advice you need, get in the zone. AutoZone. We'll talk about the pitchers when we come back.
Who are you?
I'm your genie. Weren't you just wishing for something more nutritious to eat?
I was.
Well, you can enjoy the taste of decadent dark chocolate, the crunch of almonds, plus 35% of your daily fiber, plus antioxidants in a Kellogg's Fiber Plus bar.
Mmm.
Right then, 2 more wishes.
I'm good.
Oh. Back to the lamp then.
See ya.
Kellogg's Fiber Plus bars. You couldn't wish for more.
The Craftsman cordless multi-tool. The power and versatility of 6 tools packed into one. More innovation, more great values. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
No matter what life throws at you, you can take the heat till it turns into heartburn. You've got what it takes. Zantac. It's strong, fast, lasting relief. So let him turn up the heat. You can stop that heartburn cold. Zantac.
Charcoal went out already? Forget it. There's more barbecue time in every bag of Kingsford charcoal. Kingsford. Slow down and grill.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large 2-topping inspired new pizza for just $5.99.
From Wagner comes a revolution in power painting. Optimus dual tip technology. With a more refined spray pattern here, this dual tip design delivers better paint coverage here, superior control here, and a beautiful finish here. All of which adds more to life out here. The new Optimus Power Painter with dual tip technology only from Wagner. And now available at True Value. Get Wagner's latest high-performance power painters with Optimus dual tip technology.
The Hyundai Leadoff Man, brought to you in part by Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. And by your Chicago Hyundai dealers. See the cars the experts are raving about at myhyundaichicago.com. Wrapping up the leadoff man, getting you set for game 3 of this series. The Cubs again at 30-38 right now, 8 games back of first place St. Louis in the NL Central. The Angels are trailing the red-hot Texas Rangers. The Rangers have won 7 in a row. The Angels right now 2.5 games out. Now the starting pitchers today. Left-hander Joe Saunders for the Angels. 33 wins combined over 08 and 09. 5-7 this year, but he's been really good on the road in his career. For Big Z, this is his 8th start. Just 2 wins so far. Both have come on the road as he faces the Angels for the first time. The Cubs host the Angels on Father's Day. Next.
Check it out! Every party needs a clown, right?
I didn't have a clown at my birthday. Me neither.
Turning 9 does not compare with being the world's greatest treat for 25 years, okay?
Clowns are earned, kids.
We are.
Celebrate the Blizzard's 25th with the Strawberry Golden Oreo Blizzard with Golden Oreo cookies and strawberries. Then follow the party tour at DQ.com. And don't forget to bring home a cake for Dad this Father's Day.
Hey, those Gecko ringtones you put on our website are wonderful. People love them.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Turned out nice.
Got another one for you.
At Geico.com, it's easy to get a free rate quote, manage your policy, make payments, or even file a claim.
Now that's a ringtone.
Yeah, it's interesting. Certainly not the worst ringtone I've ever heard. Yeah, that might be the worst.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large 2-topping Inspired new pizza for just $5.99.
When we get back, we're going to have a hero's welcome. Can we ride around town and on donkeys? What? Donkeys? Yeah, I heard you. That's just so strange, I guess.
Built with quality and backed with the best coverage in America, including a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's 40,000 more miles than Ford. Chevy Silverado Half-Ton, a Consumer's Digest Best Buy, and the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. Get 0% APR for 72 months on 2010 Silverado Half-Ton models with an average finance savings around $6,000.
Hey, listen, put your mind in rewind. It's Rick Dees, your host for Out of Sight Retro Night, tonight, right here on WGN America.
The following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
Wrigley Field for a Father's Day edition of Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. It has been a rough weekend for the home team. They try to avoid being swept by the Angels. We welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Hi again, everyone. And again, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Partner, that goes for you, too.
Same to you.
All right. The Cubs today need to shore up the defense.
No question about it, Len. I mean, offensively, you're going to go through peaks and valleys over the course of the season. The pitching staff is going to do the same, but you hope your defense would be a constant. Well, it's been a constant for the Cubs. Unfortunately, it's been a really bad constant up to this point.
4 unearned runs yesterday. That probably was not the difference in the game, but Torrey Hunter and Bobby Abreu were.
Wow, I'll tell you what. You talk about the 3-4 hitters in a lineup, bringing their game to this series here at Wrigley Field. These two guys have absolutely crushed the Cubs. You see these numbers. Not only that, they've walked 5 times between them. They've scored 7 runs. They've been involved in just about everything.
And they're both in the lineup today against Carlos Zambrano. Now down to the field, God Bless America and the national anthem performed by our favorites, Humphreys McGee.
Humphreys McGee, as they honor the United States by first performing God Bless America, followed by our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So we're set. The Cubs hosting the Angels. We'll have the lineups, the first pitch, and all the action coming up next.
I'm in the FBI. Let's figure it out. Join the team, be an X-Man.
Still alive, baby?
That's right.
Yes? I like it. Ooh, cool.
There have been many versions of the social greeting. The fist bump has been thrust into and out of vogue. The low five was cool for a while. The chest bump had its day, as did the outlaw, the forearm grasp, and the point and go. In certain circles, the headbutt, and of course, the bro hug double back tap combo. But one greeting stands the test of time, with a beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. Budweiser.
This is Rachel, a busy mom on a busy game day. She starts at dawn and so does her back pain. That's 2 pills for a 4-hour drive. The drive is done, so it's metal benches, a day of games, and 2 more pills. The games are over, her pain is back. That's 2 more pills. And when she's finally home, but hang on, just 2 Aleve can keep back pain away all day with fewer pills than Tylenol. This is Rachel, who chose Aleve and 2 pills for a day free of pain.
Gotta measure twice.
Hey, what's up? It's your TV. I unplugged your cable to show you something that'll blow your mind. DirecTV. With DirecTV, you can watch all your games at once. Watch basketball, hockey, tennis, whatever, all at the same time. 8 screens on your TV. It's like being at a sports bar, but you're not. You're on the couch, at home, in your tighties. Nice. Give them a call and check out that deal. DirecTV. It'll change your life.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. By Pepsi. Every Pepsi refreshes the world. Submit your idea at refresheverything.com. And by Illinois Lottery's newest game, Powerball Wednesday and Saturday jackpot start at $20 million. Today's game is available in Spanish on your SAP audio setting, provided by WRTO, La Tremenda, Chicago's Spanish language sports leader. Elio Benitez and Hector Fabregas on the call as Joe Saunders warms up in the bullpen, and they have a batter out there.
Yeah, you know, we talked about Randy Wells' first inning struggles a couple of starts ago, and one of the theories that the Cubs came up with was to have him simulate the first few hitters of the ball game before he leaves the bullpen, and it appears that Joe Saunders using a similar warm-up procedure for the Angels.
Bob, as always on Father's Day, the Cubs, MLB, and the Players Association and umpires partnering up in the 2010 Home Run Challenge to promote prostate cancer awareness. You're going to see a lot of the light blue wristbands. Derek Lee, Lou Piniella representing the Cubs in this initiative. 60 selected games, and every time a player goes deep, pledges will be made. Money will be raised for prostate cancer research. Now the Angels lineup written out by Mike Scioscia. They scored 12 yesterday, 7 in the opener. Kendrick, Franzen, Abreu with good numbers against Big Z. Torrey Hunter has homered in each of the first 2 games. Matsui his second start in left. Napoli again at first. Mathis behind the plate. It's Brandon Wood at short and Joe Saunders on the mound.
And let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively behind Carlos Zambrano today. Brought to you by Pepsi. Every Pepsi refreshes the world. Soriano, Bird, and Nady across the outfield. Jeff Baker platooning at third base with Chad Tracy. Starlin Castro at short. Ryan Terrio at second. Derek Lee over at first base. Giovanni Soto will be doing the catching today for right-hander Carlos Zambrano. You see his numbers since rejoining the rotation in 3 starts. The one number that really jumps out at me, the 11 base on balls in 15 1/3 innings pitched. Not only does that put base runners on base, but obviously runs up that pitch count, and that is always an issue when Big Z takes them out.
2-5, but no wins at home. And he tries to get his first of the year here at Wrigley Field today. The umpires, Marty Foster in his 12th season will work the plate. Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, at first. Ed Hickox at second. Field and Culbreth at third. Cooler temperatures today. The wind is blowing in off the lake. Overcast skies, but we should be okay weather-wise.
You wouldn't expect to see any home runs to right field today. Maybe a line drive getting into the basket, but if anything, the wind is going to knock down balls hit the right. May help balls hit the left a little bit.
Howie Kendrick with his first career leadoff homer yesterday off Ted Lilly, and he takes a first pitch fastball for a strike from Zambrano, who faces the Angels for the first time in his major league career. Kendrick pops up the bunt attempt, and it's going to land foul. Now the Chrysler game forecast brought to you by Chrysler. 74 degrees, again an east wind. Cloudy but pleasant. For more information on our vehicle lineup, log on to Chrysler.com or stop by your Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana Chrysler dealer today. A gentle breeze coming in off the lake.
Is that Seals and Crofts? Oh, that was Summer Breeze.
Summer Breeze. Yeah. That fits. One and two on the Angels leadoff man, Kevin Franzen on deck. And then the 2 guys we talked about off the top, Abreu and Hunter.
That's something you don't see every day. Kendrick's foul ball hit the backstop and dropped directly down on the head of the on-deck hitter Kevin Franzen, popped him right on top of the helmet.
He just shrugged his shoulders.
See if he was over in the on-deck circle where he's supposed to be, this wouldn't have happened. That ball came down and bopped him right on top of the helmet. He's cheating up as close as he can get to home plate to try to get an angle on Carlos Zambrano's delivery.
Derek Lee over near the tarp makes a catch. Make sure you check out our WGN baseball blog on WGNTV.com. I go into it a little more in depth on the blog. We have a link to the stretch from yesterday conducted by Tim Meadows, game notes from Stats, much more, but I went into the numbers a little bit on Big Z, trying to figure out, okay, what's different this year. Here's Franzen. And in this game, your eyes can sometimes lie to you, and my gut told me that Z was striking out fewer people. But that was not the case. In fact, his strikeout rate is as high as it's been since 2006. But the problem is, Bob, he's walking more people and he's giving up more hits. So the one thing he can control is, the walks, throwing more strikes. and not giving them free base runners. He backhands, a little bobble, and gets Franzen. There are some people who say that once the ball's put in play, a pitcher really can't control it, and opposing hitters, when they put the ball in play, are hitting almost 370, so there might be a little bad luck. But as I said, the one thing he can control are the free passes. So if that improves, that would certainly help.
Yeah, no question about it, and that goes hand in hand with the lowered pitch count to give Carlos the opportunity to pitch a little bit deeper into the ball game. Unfortunately, a number of his starts this year, we've been looking at 80 or 90 pitches in the 4th inning, and when you get into that situation, especially when it's been hot and humid, they have to start thinking about pulling the plug and getting Carlos out of the game. So hopefully he'll be able to keep the walks down. That will in turn keep the pitch count down.
And Abreu takes it inside. 4 hits for him yesterday. Probably should have had 5. He was called out on a close play at first, but our replay indicated that he beat the throw. But quite honestly, he didn't need another hit here at Wrigley Field. He's had enough. Just to kind of cap it for Z, I guess the one point to be made is it's going to be hard to expect him to strike out more people. That's probably not going to happen. Almost a strikeout per inning as it is. But the walk total certainly can decrease.
Now, there are junctures during a ball game where a walk is maybe what you want to have happen. You know, you have to pick your battles, and depending on the hitter at the plate and the game situation, some of those walks are strategic in nature, but I think the overwhelming majority of them are just because Carlos has had trouble finding the zone consistently.
3-2 on Abreu with Hunter on deck. We'll keep an eye on Aramis Ramirez today. Nathan Believa, the fine radio voice of the Peoria Chiefs, will keep us up to date. Aramis hitting second for Peoria and DHing, and he walked in his first at bat. And Abreu walks in his first plate appearance. Cubs are hoping Aramis will be ready to go, and he's eligible to return from the DL Wednesday in Seattle. I'll tell you, they're going to need all the offensive firepower they can get, because Seattle's going to have left-hander Jason Vargas Tuesday, 5 wins and a sub-3 ERA, and then Wednesday Cliff Lee, Thursday Felix Hernandez, both coming off complete game wins over the Reds. And that's a pitcher's ballpark as it is in Seattle. Close at first. Abreu got back just in time.
And once again, good base stealers, good base runners slide to that outside corner of the bag, forcing Derek Lee to bring that tag as far as he possibly can. Abreu didn't even have much of a lead over there. I think he might have been caught peeking in at Giovanni Soto's sign, trying to look for an off-speed pitch to perhaps steal a base. Yeah, we've had pictures many times, that base stealer getting out there, getting kind of a primary lead where he feels like he can get back to the bag safely, and peeking in at the catcher signs, and then when the pitcher comes to a set position, he'll get an extra step on his lead.
And the other thing is, any good base stealer would tell you that the pickoff throws should end up being close at first. That means you have a good lead.
Yep.
If it's too easy to get back, some guys will take another step off the base. Way inside. 1-2 to Hunter. A pretty solid stolen base percentage. And he takes off. That's going to be a ball. Z with a little hitch. Abreu took off before Z got rid of the ball. And he had an awkward delivery, to say the least.
Yeah, because Carlos is so quick to the plate and most teams choose not to run against him, there are occasions where he doesn't really check the runner at first base. He'll come to a set position, he'll look over toward third base, and then he'll deliver the ball home.
Mike Scioscia came out briefly to talk to Marty Foster. Not quite sure. I thought it was pretty obvious what the call was, but he wanted an explanation.
Well, and just as a point for you youngsters out there, when a balk is called and the pitcher delivers that pitch to home plate, that's a free swing. If you put that ball in play and make an out, it's a no play and the runner takes second base and you continue the at bat. If you get a base hit, it counts as a base hit and you play it. That's one of the quirky things once again about baseball. That's a free swing for the batter.
The 2-2 is low, 3-2. He's storming around there behind the mound, trying to get pumped up to get Hunter get out of this inning. Fouled back. And we'll have another 3-2 coming up. 5 runs allowed in a loss to Oakland on Tuesday, but only 2 were earned. Throw to second. They got him. How about that? Z picks off Bobby Abreu after balking him to second. So a 2-out walk, a balk, and a pickoff. Cubs coming up.
CC looks a bit rattled out there, and Dave Island is coming out for a visit.
Dave, I think we should put an organic garden in that bullpen.
I think we should organize a group hug for all of New York.
Mobile classrooms, that was your idea, wasn't it?
How about a pizza party for all of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Senior prom for senior citizens. I don't know about that one.
Pepsi's spending millions to fund refreshing ideas. Vote for ideas you care about at refresheverything.com.
See that girl in the stands? She got some great ideas.
From Wagner comes a revolution in power painting. Optimus dual tip technology with a more refined spray pattern here. This dual tip design delivers better paint coverage here, superior control here, and a beautiful finish here. All of which adds more to life out here. The new Optimus Power Painter with dual tip technology only from Wagner. And now available at True Value. Get Wagner's latest high-performance power painters with Optimus dual tip technology.
Thank you so much. Namaste. Hey, just got off the phone with a sweet gal, fender bender. Think I got her to a good place.
Oh, then you'll love this. Online repair monitoring. After an accident, Esurance customers can get daily updates with photos of their car repairs in progress.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
That's really great.
Thanks.
I mean, really great.
Chad, I don't want to talk about feelings.
Sure you do.
Go to esurance.com or call today.
Now Lou Pinella's Pepsi lineup against the Angels, brought to you by Pepsi. Every Pepsi refreshes the world. A season low 2 hits yesterday, and the Cubs did not have any at-bats with a runner in scoring position. That needs to change today. Bird leading off, Baker, Lee, Nady. A lot of righties in this lineup. Soto, Soriano, Castro, Terrio, and the switch hitting Zambrano against the lefty Joe Saunders.
Quick look at the Angels defensively today. Matsui, Hunter, and Abreu across the outfield. Franson and Wood on the left side of the infield. Howie Kendrick has really been a force in this series offensively. He'll be at second base today. Mike Napoli over at first base. Jeff Mathis doing the catching for left-hander Joe Saunders. I think a lot of people would be surprised, I know I was, to find out that Joe Saunders, there's only one pitcher in the American League that had more victories the last 2 seasons than Joe Saunders, and that was Roy Halladay. 33 victories over the last 2 years.
An all-star in 08 when he won 16 victories last season. And a strike on Marlon Byrd. Bouncing ball to Kendrick. 2 pitches, 1 away. Saunders, for whatever reason, has been a lot better on the road than at home.
Best winning percentage on the road among active pitchers, 29-11.
.245 on the road and dominates when he wins and really gets knocked around when he loses. This is his Wrigley Field debut, facing the Cubs for the first time in a non-Cactus League outing. We've seen Joe Saunders before in Arizona. A little bit more on the line here. Jeff Baker singles through the hole on the left side.
Well, the key to any pickoff is how quickly the pitcher can get into a throwing position and what kind of throw does he give to the infielder. We know Big Z has quick feet. Perfect throw to Terrio. I mean, they had Abreu by a mile out there at second base. Very well executed pickoff attempt that time. Yeah, you'll see Saunders pitch a lot like Scott Kazmir did in the first game of this series. He'll throw a tailing fastball. He'll throw a lot of straight change-ups and mix in the breaking balls usually the second and third time through the lineup.
12th overall pick in the 02 draft out of Virginia Tech. He was born in Springfield, Virginia. He makes his winter home in Chandler, Arizona. That's low to D. Lee. 2 balls, no strikes. Big swing, he fouled it back. Derek with 2 homers on Friday, went 0 for 3 yesterday. And it's 2-2. Travel day tomorrow, final off day of the first half for the Cubs, who will play then 20 in a row before the All-Star game in Anaheim. As we said, we're off to Seattle for 3 and then back to the south side of Chicago on Friday. Two on Lee. Baker the runner at first, just off the corner. As we look ahead, so a 6-game road trip, which will include 3 here in Chicago, and then back home to play the Pirates and the Reds, at Arizona and the Dodgers, and then the All-Star break. Goes by fast. And also 1 week from today, we will be at U.S. Cellular Field. Bob and I will have the call, the Cubs and the White Sox, and a special leadoff man at noon Central Time. Runner going and fouled away. We'll do it yet again.
Well, obviously the big series against the White Sox next weekend. That's big for obvious reasons for anybody here in Chicago. But then Pittsburgh, a team that has handled the Cubs pretty handily this year. The Cubs owe them big time. And then the Reds come in for 4 games. And obviously the Reds are the team that are directly ahead of the Cubs in the standings in the National League Central. So you'd like to think if they could put together some kind of a run here, they could make this race in the National League Central a lot more interesting.
A pop-up near first as Napoli gets into foul ground and makes the play. And it brings up Xavier Nady, who's playing right. Nady's batting average has gone up every month. And he's starting to see more action as we get into the middle of the season. 194 in April, 244 in May, and now 385 to start June. Cubs looking to get their first runner to second base since Friday. One and one on Nady. Ground ball sharply hit into left. And Mike Quaddy now has something to work with.
Getting closer for Q to shake hands with a teammate. Jeff Baker moves into scoring position at second base on the Nady single. A good opportunity here for Giovanni Soto early in the ball game with 2 outs.
Gio in the 5 spot. 9 for his last 25. You see the very healthy on base average above 400. Walked a career best 62 times in 08, already 35 this season, just 53 games for Soto. Boy, that Rookie of the Year campaign, he had basically twice as many strikeouts as walks. This year, it's almost 1-to-1. The 2-0 pitch, 3-0. And Mathis will head out to the mound.
You like your hitters to be aggressive in good hitters counts, but this might be one of those situations where you wouldn't really mind if Soto took 2 strikes to run the count to full, get those base runners in motion on the 3-2 pitch.
You can email us at LennonBob@Tribune.com or follow us on Twitter.com/LennonBob. Ball 4 to load him up. Here comes Soriano with 3 on and 2 down. And the pitching coach Mike Butcher is out. Saunders really laboring here in the first. Hey, Ryan Dempster and his wife Jenny hosting a group of families through the USO of Illinois. The families were invited to Wrigley prior to the gates opening to visit with Ryan. They treated the families to lunch and autographs. They were chosen because their dads are currently serving in Iraq or Afghanistan or were serving overseas last year on Father's Day. It's a nice program put together by the Dempsters. Inside corner on a fastball for a strike. A belt-tie fastball, inner half.
Maybe a little low. Fonzie likes the ball down a little bit more.
All right. Swing and a miss. Might not get that pitch.
No, because Joe Saunders knows where Alfonso Soriano likes the ball. He's a real good low ball hitter, real good fastball hitter. And with that in mind, the 1-1 changeup off the plate low and away gets a swinging strike.
Saunders from the windup with the bases loaded. The 1-2 and just off the end of the bat. Couple of singles and a walk. And the Cubs with a first inning 2-out threat. Kendrick's going to have to hurry. Bare hands, throws away. They get one, they get two. Baker and Nady score. It's 2-0. The ball never got to the infield dirt. That's how softly it was hit, and they scored twice.
Well, that works perfectly. A full swing from a power hitter. He got jammed, broke his bat. As you said, that ball didn't even get to the grass. Kendrick tried to make the play to first. It looked like they still had time to get Soriano, but his throw was offline to Mike Napoli, and very alert base running that time. Like Xavier Nady, also Giovanni Soto going first to third as that ball got past the Angels first baseman. It ricocheted right back to him, but he didn't have a play anywhere.
An RBI single for Soriano. The second run scored on the throwing error by Kendrick. Good to see the Angels help the Cubs a little bit on defense. Cubs have given the Angels 8 unearned runs already in the series.
Yeah, seems only fair they should give a few back here in the finale.
One strike to Castro. Now 1-1. Well, there can be some really funny English on a ball off the bat of Alfonso Soriano. When he gets out in front of a pitch, he can hit it right off the end of the bat. We saw a cue shot right back to the pitcher earlier in this series.
Yeah, that full swing broken bat floater like we just saw, that is one of the toughest plays for an infielder to read, because you see a power hitter like Soriano take a big swing. Well, you assume he's going to hit it a little harder than he did, and I'm sure Kendrick got a late break on that ball.
Mathis pounced on it. Soriano now with those with that RBI leading the team with 35. Even tied with Marlon Byrd. And there's a beneficiary, the starting pitcher Carlos Zambrano.
Big Z's just hoping to get an at bat here in the first inning.
He might. Currently in the hole behind Ryan Theriot. Castro has been in there every day since he made his major league debut in Cincinnati on May 7th. The 3-2 pitch. A pop-up down along the right field line. Kendrick racing over, and he'll make the catch near the bullpen to end the inning. They get 2, 1 unearned, and lead after 1.
So, heading to the doctor? Yeah. You gonna ask him this time? About what? Our erectile dysfunction. Shh, no, I don't want to talk about it. Look, you're not alone. Millions of men with ED have talked to their doctors. I don't know. We can do this. Okay.
Talking to your doctor about ED may be the last thing you want to do, but it's definitely a conversation worth having. 20 million men have had their Viagra talk. When you're ready for yours, you'll find helpful tips on talking to your doctor at Viagra.com. Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Don't take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing. Talk to your doctor today and ask if Viagra is right for you.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For
limited time, carry out a large 2-topping Inspire new pizza for just $5.99.
Where do denture wearers get the confidence to be their effervescent selves? From Efferdent. Efferdent's powerful effervescence cleans dentures even in hard-to-reach places and kills odor-causing bacteria. Be your effervescent self with Efferdent.
Give yourself an edge. New One-A-Day Men's Pro Edge. A complete multivitamin with more magnesium to help support healthy muscle function. More B vitamins to help convert food to fuel. More confidence in a healthy you. New One-A-Day Men's Pro Edge.
Let's meet today's Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kids. Mary Rose Brzezinski from Peru, Illinois. Peter Kowalski from Downers Grove. For more info on how you can be a Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kid, getting an autograph from Giovanni Soto, go to WGNradio.com. Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. Well, Torrey Hunter has seen a lot of pitches from Big Z. He was in a 3-2 count when Bobby Abreu got picked off. Back in the first inning, Jeff Baker can't handle it, and Hunter is aboard to start the second. Jeff with a couple of errors on Friday on throws.
He's had that long hop. That in-between hop, either come in a half a step, go back a half a step, make it an easier play. But Hunter hit that ball pretty hard down to third base. It will go as an E5 on Jeff Baker.
And the error total building 12 for the Cubs over the last 6 games. Hideki Matsui, ball 1.
You bring up a good point, Len. The fact that Torrey Hunter was at the plate, got to see all those pitches from Zambrano before the pickoff at second base. Now you come back starting fresh here in the second inning, and you feel like you've already had a pretty good look at that opposing pitcher, even though you don't officially have an at bat.
Yeah, it's your second at bat.
Yeah.
It doesn't get counted that way. Matsui normally the DH, but no DH in this series. And why have they been better without Kendry Morales? That's why. Morales got hurt on May 29th, and those 4 guys had a bad May. They had a scorching June. They're 15-5 since Morales got hurt. It's 2-1.
Not hard to explain the success that the Angels have had since losing one of their best hitters. Yeah, sometimes when you lose a guy like that, and we saw it a little bit with Aramis Ramirez earlier this season, it changes the kind of offense you play as a manager. Without a thumper in the middle of the lineup, maybe start runners a few more times, play a little hit and run, maybe bunt a little more often. But that wasn't the case with the Angels. They're always a very aggressive offensive team, especially running the bases. It's just the fact that some guys got hot at the right time.
Boy, they have been road warriors. They have won 12 of their last 14 on the road. Their last road trip, they finished 11-3. And they've already won 2 this weekend. They're going to head home for a couple of weeks after this series. That's a strike, a late call by Marty Foster, and it's 3-2.
A late call because of a lot of late movement on this sinker from Zambrano. Well, that ball really tailed back, maybe a little bit above the belt there. Definitely in the strike zone according to the rule book, but rarely called.
Swing and a miss. Throw to second in plenty of time. A strike him out, throw him out, double play. Well, that's big. Angels were maybe thinking big inning. Instead, 2 outs, nobody on.
Another elevated sinker up around the belt, gets the swinging strike at home plate. That runner at first never gets as big a jump when he's running on that 3-2 pitch as he would if he's trying to straight steal a base in. They get Hunter by a mile down there at second.
So the aggressive Angels have committed. They've had a couple of outs made on the bases, a pickoff and a caught stealing. Wouldn't necessarily say 2 mistakes, but you know, when you are aggressive, you are going to run into some outs.
And I think the Angels understand that and are willing to make that trade-off for being aggressive, going first to third, scoring from second base on just about everything hit to the outfield, starting runners on full counts. They're going to run into some outs.
Good to see the Cubs with the pickoff and Gio with the solid throw. Well, yesterday Ted Lilly had what appeared to be the most routine of double plays and airmailed it into center. Three and one on Napoli. Mathis on deck. That's a strike. He went with a slider to even it up.
That's one pitch we haven't seen a lot of from Carlos in his return to the starting rotation. He's stuck mostly with his sinking fastball, his cut fastball, and his splitter.
Ball strike 3. Napoli knew it, and just like that, the inning is over. An error to start it, but no runs. 2-0 Cubs early.
My most memorable experiences were my Little League days.
We were called the Rockets, the Oyster River Bobcats,
Lloyd's Reynolds.
There's nothing like the adrenaline you get as a young kid, just kind of competing at that early age.
If I went pitching, I was catching. If I went catching, I was playing shortstop.
That's when I first learned to throw my big 12-6 curveball.
We'd play whenever we had any free moment.
Every kid dreams about playing Major League Baseball. I remember that it's like it was yesterday.
No, not now. Come on, please.
Oh, great.
Nothing's worse than a dead battery. And nothing's more reliable than a Duralast battery. Engineered to start day in and day out, even under the most extreme conditions. Duralast. Proven tough. Only at AutoZone.
I rely on my pit crew for a lot of things, both on and off the track. But when it comes to my cars, I take care of them myself because I know I'm going to do it right. Armor All. Care for your car. And to protect against brake dust and grime, try new Armor All Wheel Protectant.
The Craftsman Cordless Multi-Tool. The power and versatility of 6 tools packed into one. More innovation, more great values. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
We love baseball and men's WGN.
Now today's improvement from Menards, Joe Saunders has won his last 3 road starts, and in his career, as Bob mentioned, 29-11. That is outstanding. For all your home improvement needs, shop and save big money at Menards. Strike pitch to Ryan Theriot, fouled away into the upper deck. 0-2 on the Cubs' second baseman. That's high. Z on deck, and then Marlon Byrd, the leadoff man. Saunders 4 days ago turned to 29. He was 6'3", 210. And he's having trouble getting in a groove here in his Wrigley Field debut.
He has some issues with base on balls himself. He can occasionally lose that strike zone. He's had starts this year where he's walked as many as 5 in a game twice, 4 in a game twice, and a number of games where he's walked 3 opposing batters.
Lined foul. You know, and that kind of goes back to the road record. It is interesting he's been that good on the road because, you know, getting used to different mounds, different weather conditions. Every ballpark's just a little bit different, and he's been more comfortable away from his home ballpark. Shortstop Wood dropped it on the spin move. He knew he didn't have a whole lot of time. It'll be a hit for Terrio.
Several parts to any successful play. Number one is catching the ball. He had it in the glove momentarily, but just couldn't keep it in his bare hand long enough to throw on to get Terrio. At first you could see he was preparing to spin with his back to first base and fire that ball across the diamond, but dropped harmlessly out of his glove.
Z bunts it foul. He has 1 sack bunt on the year. But of all the Cubs starting pitchers, I would probably rank him number 5 because he swings the bat.
Well, Zambrano is not asked to bunt that often in sacrifice bunt situations. Try to take advantage of a broken up defense. You got the third baseman drawn in, the middle infielders cheating close to second, Napoli holding the runner at first. A lot of holes to work with out there if Big Z could just make some contact here with 2 strikes.
You know, everything he does is full speed ahead. I think it's hard for him to actually deaden the ball.
We talk all the time about trying to bunt the ball off the end of the bat, out as close to the end of the bat as you possibly can, because that will, as you said, deaden the ball. It won't bounce, it won't roll as far, but Big Z likes to get the barrel of the bat on the ball.
And a chopper that's cut off by the third baseman Franzen. He will get Z. It works like a sacrifice, even though he'll get an 0 for 1 out of it.
The third annual Road to Wrigley, presented by PNC Bank, returns to Wrigley Field on Wednesday, July 7th. With $2 parking and tickets starting at just $5, fans can get a major league feel for minor league prices. Don't miss the excitement with the famous chicken and fun prizes throughout the game. Order your tickets today at Cubs.com. Chiefs go into play tonight, 6 games over 500 in third place in the Western Division of the Midwest League. And as always, we cannot recommend any higher coming out to the Road to Wrigley game. A lot of fun.
Runner at second, 1 out. Marlon Byrd swings and misses. Big leg kick. That's fouled off by Byrd. We will record a brand new podcast after the ball game today. It'll be up for viewing by Monday. You can check it out at WGNTV.com.
You can see where that's where Mathis wanted the ball up, a fastball up in the zone ahead in the count, but maybe not quite that high.
the belt. Saunders with another to Bird, who fought it off. In on the hand, still 1-2. Always great to see members of the military represented here at Wrigley Field. A little R&R today. Well, we've seen some deep counts, some long at bats. That's something we didn't see much of from the Cubs offense against Jared Weaver yesterday.
Well, and there was a reason for that. I know you have the specific numbers there as far as how many strikes he threw on first pitch, how many times Cubs hitters found themselves in an 0-1 hole right away.
A bouncer to short, and the throw goes to third. Save! Not quite sure why Brandon Wood even made that throw. He had an easy out at first for what would have been a second out. But he tried to get the lead runner, and Terrio simply beat it.
Well, he beat the throw, but that's poor base running on the part of Ryan Terrio. He got lucky right there. The high throw to third base gave Terrio just enough room to get in underneath the tag of Kevin Frandsen. I mean, the rule of thumb is if that ball's hit to your right as a base runner at second, you have to hold your position and go back to the bag. If it's hit to your left, you can advance on to third base. Terrio got lucky that time.
Jeff Baker into the right field corner. Here comes Terrio. Bird on his way to third. Abreu with a little trouble. He'll get it back in. Missed both cutoff men. The throw rolled all the way to home plate. 3-0. And still only one out as Jeff Baker has 2 hits today.
The ball was hit well to the right field corner. Baker's done a nice job of getting the barrel of the bat on the ball, not necessarily pulling it, but this case hitting it hard down into that right field corner. Mike Quaddy waited as long as he possibly could before throwing up that stop sign. Abreu got to the ball and unleashed a strong throw. As you said, it air-mailed everybody all the way to home plate on a couple of hops, but no sense taking any chances with the middle of the lineup coming to the plate.
Cornermen in, they're back up the middle, and a high fly to right. Abreu coming over. This should easily get Bird in. Abreu is going to fire, and the throw is going to be late. It's 4-0. Sac fly, Derek Lee.
Nice job by Derek Lee getting that runner home from third base. We've talked about Bobby Abreu's offense, his base running, and kind of a neglected part of his game. Not too many people talk about it. He's a pretty good outfielder. I didn't think they had any chance to make that a close play at home plate, and as it turns out, it wasn't that close, but still took a shot at the runner at home.
Nady bounces foul. Barehanded by Mike Quaddy. The Cubs have been a lot more aggressive today than they were against Jared Weaver yesterday. ESPN.com had some interesting numbers. A lot of first pitch strikes from Weaver. 13 Cubs hitters yesterday fell behind 0-1 on a called first strike. And Weaver got to 2 strikes on all but just 4 hitters in his entire outing yesterday.
And we were talking before the ball game. I think a lot of that has to do with how tough it is to pick pitches up from Jared Weaver with that crossfire action. He hides the ball extremely well, not only from the righties but from the lefties as well.
And Nady swings and misses, and that ends the inning. Saunders throwing a lot of first pitch strikes, but some have ended up hits, and the Cubs lead 4-0.
Think yours is the most beautiful baby? Prove it, and you could win $5,000 in the Beautiful Babies Contest. It's free and open to babies 3 to 48 months at WGNAmerica.com.
It's understood that if you get up to get a Budweiser, you come back with a round. How you carry that round is a matter of personal preference. There's the six-pack Strangler, the St. Bernard, the flock of geese, the marsupial, the Sherpa, the claw, even the more advanced Labrador Retriever. But we always come back with the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. Budweiser.
Gotta measure twice.
Hey, what's up? It's your TV. I unplugged your cable to show you something that'll blow your mind. DirecTV. With DirecTV, you can watch all your games at once. Watch basketball, hockey, tennis, whatever, all at the same time. 8 screens on your TV. It's like being at a sports bar, but you're not. You're on the couch, at home, in your tighties. Nice. Give them a call and check out that deal. DirecTV. It'll change your life.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large 2-topping inspired new pizza for just $5.99.
Coppertone Sport outshines. It protects you from the most damaging rays across 100% of the UVA-UVB spectrum, and the protection stays on better because it's ultra sweat-proof. Coppertone Sport outshines, so you can enjoy the sun.
Game is brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the first inning. Let's check out the crowd through the first inning fan cam and see who's enjoying the game.
Life's jungle sucked the will right out you. Hold on, Lord, I can't do without you. Seems like a lot of gray in the world. Women want a song, women want a song. We'll make it all move along to a lovely beat. Yeah.
One of our favorites, Humphreys McGee, with Women, Wine, and Song. They did a great job with the anthem before the ball game today. That's a cool cut right there. Budweiser, it's what we do.
The 1-0 on the way to catcher Jeff Mathis. He bounces to Jeff Baker, who fields it foul. Baker with 2 hits, including an RBI double and a 2-run second. And the Cubs out to an early 4-0 lead. Well, Mike Scioscia would rather have Kenry Morales healthy, but with him now done for the year, he can get both of his catchers in there more often at the same time. That's been an interesting decision he's had to make on a daily basis the last few years. Mathis or Napoli. Mathis considered the better defender. Napoli a better offensive catcher. Blooped out into right center, and it drops. 3 Cubs were in the vicinity, but nobody could get there. And a bloop single on a 1-2 pitch to lead off the 3rd. That's their first hit.
Cued right off the end of the bat of the Angels catcher. Out into that Bermuda Triangle between Bird, Terrio, and Xavier Nady. Nobody could get there in time to get that one.
And Mathis now with a 12-game hitting streak. He's hit in every game this season. Missed 55 games on the DL. And a broken wrist. 1-0 on Brandon Wood. Well, Bob, as we kind of look at the big picture here, I don't think anyone would consider Carlos Zambrano the ace right now. I think the de facto ace would probably be Ryan Dempster. But Z was the opening day starter. Spent some time in the bullpen, now back in the rotation. This is a day where he's got to protect a 4-0 lead.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you'd like to think any pitcher in your rotation could protect an early 4-0 lead, but you know, especially for Carlos, the way his season has gone this year, this would be a huge step forward for him.
I guess you could make a case Carlos Silva has become the ace with how well he has pitched. Dempster's been a little bit more of an iron man, going deeper into games. Silva leading the team in wins. How about 2? Castro, Terrio leads 6-4-3.
Just the way you draw it up. Hard hit ground ball. Leads Castro right to the bag at second. The easy shovel toss on to Terrio. Plenty of time to finish that one off. You see ground balls off opposing hitters' bats. That tells you Zambrano has good movement on that sinker today. Getting the ball over the plate, giving the illusion of strikes, and having those Angels hitters just pound the top half of the baseball into the ground. I mean, one thing to consider, because of the circumstances surrounding Zambrano's season, he doesn't have nearly the innings pitched at this point of the season that he normally would have if he'd been in the rotation the entire time. So you'd like to think that at some point, if he hits his stride, he should be able to carry that deep into the season this year.
A fly ball to center. Marlon Byrd will get it. Yeah, just over 50 innings now in 2.5 months for Carlos. Cubs doing everything right early. 4-0 today.
Check it out. Every party needs a clown, right?
I didn't have a clown at my birthday. Me neither.
Turning 9 does not compare with being the world's greatest treat for 25 years, okay?
Clowns are earned, kids.
We are.
Celebrate the Blizzard's 25th with the Strawberry Golden Oreo Blizzard with Golden Oreo cookies and strawberries. Then follow the party tour at DQ.com. And don't forget to bring home a cake for Dad this Father's Day.
Everyone, I just saved a customer tons of money on his car insurance. So from now on, I'd like to be known as the Saver.
You know, the insurance site gives out discounts every day. Should we call the website the Saver?
Website already has the nickname, people.
Which is?
Fred.
So you're the Saver, while the website, which gives out thousands of discounts every day, is called Fred.
Hey, Saver.
Yeah, that just happened.
Call today or go to esurance.com.
We gave the world free HD! When we get back, we're gonna have a hero's welcome for flipping that switch. You really think so? Yeah! We just made history, Bernie. Really? Yeah! There's probably parties in the streets, people singing, dancing. I love the astronauts flying in space. Giving me free HD, oh yeah. Yeah. Why don't I do the singing?
No matter what life throws at you, you can take the heat till it turns into heartburn. You've got what it takes. Zantac. It's strong, fast, lasting relief. So let them turn up the heat. You can stop that heartburn cold. Zantac.
Time now to look at our PNC Cubs Achiever. A little bit of a rematch here today of the 1981 World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. Mike Scioscia, I believe that was his second full year in the major leagues. You can see what he did offensively in that series. The skipper, Lou Piniella, had a little bit better offensive series, but the Dodgers ended up winning that World Series 4-2. PNC Bank is proud to be an official sponsor of the Chicago Cubs and just as proud to support the fans and community who cheer them on. PNC for the Achiever in all of us.
A lot of fans enjoying this one from the PNC Club as Giovanni Soto hits a high, deep drive. How far will it go? Back of the bleachers and left, 5-0. Oh, he teed off on Joe Saunders.
That was an ambush. You were talking in his last at bat how patient Giovanni Soto has been, how he's drawing more walks this year. Yeah, word gets around the league. Yeah, just try to jump ahead with that first pitch fastball for a strike. Well, Giovanni Soto thwarted that right there.
This reminds me of yesterday's game, but with the Cubs doing what the Angels did and vice versa. That's the thing about baseball. And, you know, Lou said it before the game. You get it done on the field. Talked to his team yesterday. He made changes. You got to get it done on the field. Done their pregame work. People want to talk about it when you are struggling. think Lou's point is let's just go out and do it. Stop talking about it. Soriano pops it up, and Napoli made the catch. A circuitous route, but he got there.
They're going to look at that Giovanni Soto home run, picking on that first pitch fastball just above the knees, right in the middle of the plate. I've told the story in the past about former Cubs second baseman Manny Trio, who was a notoriously patient hitter, would always take the first pitch. And about a half a dozen times a year, he would go to the plate and look to jump on that first pitch and pull it out of the ballpark. And I think that's what Giovanni Soto did right there. He's established this season and in this series that he's going to be patient. He's going to see a lot of pitches every at bat. And that time he surprised Joe Saunders by jumping on the first one.
1-1 on Starlin. Cubs have scored in every inning. 2 in the first, 2 in the second. And the leadoff homer by Soto in the third, inside, 2-1. And caught the corner. Tweets on our Twitter account. Happy belated birthday to George from the House of Blues. Annie Picky wants to wish everyone a happy Father's Day. Base hit right field.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN TV is sponsored in part by the Illinois Lottery Mega Millions. Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is $26 million.
Kevin Fisk riding in 1 week from today. We'll be at U.S. Cellular Field. He'll be getting married. Wish you the best of luck, Kevin.
And just in case you haven't received this advice from one of your friends, I'll give it to you for them. Practice this phrase, Kevin, and use it as necessary. Yes, dear, you're right. I'm sorry.
That's all you need to know. Terrio shows bunt and took it for ball 1. 1-1. Castro at first, 1 out. She's a big fan of the riot.
Well, Lou hasn't had this opportunity very often recently, but with a 5-run lead in the ball game and a runner at first, this is usually a very good hit and run count. Joe Saunders doesn't want to go to 3-1 on Ryan Terrio, so he figures to throw a strike. And see what the Cubs do. No action. And now it is 3-1.
Three and 2 to Terrio. Pretty good chance Castro will go on the next one. Saunders continues to grind.
We talked about the unusual formation that the Angels used with a runner at first base. Mike Napoli doesn't stand right on the bag at first like you see a lot of first basemen do. He's probably about 5 feet off the bag, but As long as you're moving toward the base when that pickoff throw is attempted, that's considered to be okay.
2 on after the walk. Play catch in the outfield, run the bases, or relax in the dugouts of Wrigley Field next Saturday, June 26th. Limited tickets are available for $150 each and include a t-shirt, photograph, baseball, and lunch. All proceeds benefit Chicago Cubs charities. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. It is becoming apparent that Joe Saunders just doesn't quite have it today. And with that, Mike Scioscia is going to get some action in the bullpen. 2 times through the order. A lot of deep counts. 7 hits. Over 70 pitches. It's Sean O'Sullivan up in the pen. Z bounces it into left. Castro is going to be sent. He'll score easily. 6-0 on an RBI hit by the pitcher. 61 career RBIs for Carlos.
And Carlos getting into the action here. Hard ground ball into left field. No hesitation on the part of Starlin Castro. He had a great jump off of second base and scores easily for Big Z.
Second trip of the day from the pitching coach Mike Butcher. This is just to buy some time for O'Sullivan trip. Cubs have scored twice in every inning. And still only 1 out, 2 on, 2 in. Marlin with a run in the second. He is 0 for 2 and now just 1 for 11 in this series.
Be anxious to hear what Marlon Byrd told Carlos Zambrano. We had that shot of Big Z going back from the on deck circle. Marlon came up out of the dugout and had a few words for him, and Big Z promptly went up and stroked an RBI base hit into left field.
Still 1-2. First place Cardinals 1-1 with the A's in St. Louis in the 5th. Cardinals look for the sweep in that one. Trevor Cahill against Jeff Suppan on the mound. Kevin Kuzminoff and Matt Holliday each with a home run in the 4th. How did he turn on that one?
I have no idea. It's the second ball in this series we've seen hit that plexiglass shield that provides a little extra protection for those people sitting in the front row. He pulled that ball directly behind himself. That's a quick bat.
Yankees ended the Mets' 8-game winning streak yesterday, and they lead again today 4-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Mark Teixeira heating up a grand slam off Johan Santana in the third, supplying all the runs for CC Sabathia today. How about that one? Johan Santana, CC Sabathia. Throw to second, close, but Terrio got his hand in before the tag by Kendrick.
There's a slight delay there. You could see Kendrick broke for second base. Saunders waited a count, and by the time he turned to spin and throw to second base, the timing of the play was off, and Terrio was able to get back. Yeah, really, the pitcher on that pickoff attempt at second base should wheel and start throwing as that second baseman begins his break for second base. If you wait till he gets there, the runner's going to be alerted.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a changeup. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
Out of Sight Retro Night tonight at 6 East 3 West on WGN America.
Been a long day for Joe Saunders, and he's only in the third inning.
And he's facing a guy that already has 2 base hits against him in the game.
Bounce to Wood, and it ate him up. Everybody's safe. That's an error on Wood. Their second error.
Just a routine 2-hopper. He just barely got leather on that ball. Ends up hitting him in the shoulder, off the side of the head. Wow. It's contagious.
The bases are now loaded for Derek. He had a sac fly in the second. Fouled out his first time up. And he drives that one deep to left, and it's going to be right at the base of the wall. Terrio in. Zambrano scores. And Derek Lee makes him pay. 8-0. That's going to be it for Saunders.
Loud double to left field by Derek Lee. Fastball that Saunders tried to sneak past him on the inside corner. Not a wise decision. D. Lee made him pay.
Well, we had the numbers earlier. When Saunders wins, he dominates, and when he loses, he really gets cuffed around. And he'll exit down 8-0 today.
COPD doesn't just make it hard to breathe. It makes it hard to do a lot of things. I'm a guy who likes to go exploring, get my hands dirty, and try new things. So I asked my doctor if Spiriva could help me breathe better.
Spiriva is the only once daily inhaled maintenance treatment for both forms of COPD, which includes chronic bronchitis and emphysema.
Spiriva keeps my airways open to help me breathe better for a full 24 hours. And it's not a steroid.
Spiriva does not replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms. Stop taking Spiriva and call your doctor right away if your breathing suddenly worsens, your throat or tongue swells, you get hives, have vision changes or eye pain, or have problems passing urine. Tell your doctor if you have glaucoma, problems passing urine, or an enlarged prostate, as these may worsen with Spiriva. Also discuss the medicines you take, even eye drops. Side effects include dry mouth, constipation, and trouble passing urine.
I'm glad I'm taking Spiriva every day, because breathing better is just better.
Ask your doctor if once daily Spiriva is right for you.
Everyone, I just saved a customer tons of money on his car insurance. So from now on, I'd like to be known as the Saver.
You know, The Esurance site gives out discounts every day. Should we call the website the saver?
Website already has the nickname, people.
Which is?
Fred.
So you're the saver, while the website, which gives out thousands of discounts every day, is called Fred.
Hey, saver.
Yeah, that just happened.
Call today or go to esurance.com.
Cubs leading the Angels 8-0. You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN, your official summer baseball station. After the error by Wood, Derek Lee with a 2-run double. Right-hander Sean O'Sullivan, who was called up 4 days ago, makes his first Major League appearance this season. Last year, 12 games, 10 starts, as you check out his numbers with AAA Salt Lake. Second and third for Xavier Nady, and O'Sullivan and Mathis will discuss.
Usually that's the last thing a pitcher and a catcher talk about before they throw their warm-up pitches. As the manager standing on the mound, he hands him the ball. The catcher says, okay, here's the signs we're going to use with the runner at second. Apparently they neglected to do that.
With a breaking ball and got a called strike. Sullivan, a third-round pick of the Angels in 05, is from San Diego. That caught the outside corner. Pretty good heat at 93. .6'2", 230. Bob, I want to send out congratulations to Jack Narker and the Shepherd Blue Jays. My high school in Michigan, they won the Division III state title for the second consecutive year.
Dynasty.
Yeah, left-hander Colton Loomis has won back-to-back state championship games, gave up 6 runs in the first 2 innings, and then stayed in, retired the final 16 of 17 he faced. Pop to left. Matsui with a long run over, and he's going to make a nice catch in fair territory to end the inning, but the Cubs get 4 runs, and the lead is now 8 after 3.
Put a refreshing spin on your summer. Bud Light Lime. Superior drinkability. Ultimate refreshment. A splash of 100% natural lime flavor. One taste and you'll find the summer state of mind. Bud Light Lime.
Finger and toe area fungal infections require strong medicine. As a pharmacist, I recommend Fungicure.
Fungicure liquid eliminates fungus around nails with powerful antifungal medicine. Just brush it on. It's clear and dries in a snap. Fungicure, the finger and toe fungi specialist.
I just thought I'd try it out. I went on Ancestry.com, started playing around with my family tree. And this little leaf appears by my grandmother's name. When I clicked on it, I found trees built by other members that traced my family all the way back to before the Civil War.
Visit Ancestry.com and discover the world's largest online family history resource.
So you don't have to know what you're looking for. You just have to start looking.
Your discovery starts right now on Ancestry.com.
How'd that prostate exam go today?
Oh, very well. Thank you for asking. Hey, aren't you due for one pretty soon?
I guess.
Whoa there, big guy.
I'll get around to it sooner or later. Sooner or later? 1 in 6 are diagnosed with prostate cancer. All right. I'll do it.
That's all we wanted to hear.
Dessert is served.
Oh, yeah.
Pizza holdout Charlie Thomas still hasn't tried Domino's new pizza. That ends today. Domino's Pizza.
Now get 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas for just $5.99 each. Know a holdout? Tell us at pizzaholdouts.com and you could win free pizza for a year.
I love it. We start the fourth. Zambrano's faced the minimum, allowing just 1 hit through 3, and he's getting help from everybody. His battery mate with a leadoff home run in the 3rd inning, and Z himself knocked in 1. 8 runs, 3 unearned tallies because of a couple of Angels errors. Kendrick fouls back. 1-2 on the Angels leadoff man. Second time this year Z has gotten at least 8 runs of support. As Kendrick pops it up, Castro's out. Bird battling the sun, makes the catch off to the side. What a difference a day makes.
Yeah, the numbers on the left were what happened here at the ballpark yesterday. It was not a pretty thing to watch if you were a Cubs fan, but a lot different story today.
Cubs leading 8-0. Strike 1 on Franzen. Franzen, a San Jose, California native. Played for his hometown Giants. Mentioned the helmet the other day. Kind of reminiscent of Craig Biggio. Well, that was his idol, Craig Biggio. So that makes sense he would wear that helmet. Not afraid to get hit by a pitch like Biggio.
Franzen actually having a pretty good offensive season. Was hitting .343 coming into play today in just 22 ball games.
And a base hit.
The 2010 Chicago Cubs baseball season on WGN is brought to you by Bud Light Lime. The drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime.
Abreu walked in the first, was balked to second, and then was picked off. An unusual chain of events. Low and outside, 2-0. Heating up in the sun. A lot of the clouds have gone away. It was pretty overcast throughout the morning and into the early afternoon. 3-0. Z not happy with himself. Carlos looking for his first home win of the season.
If you watch as Bobby Abreu takes the grip on the bat as he's waiting for Zambrano to deliver the ball to home plate, a very light grip, especially with that top hand. You see his guy's little finger hanging over his bottom hand, just very lightly cradling that bat. That's a trait that most good hitters have. Very relaxed hands, very relaxed forearms until they make up their mind they're going to swing the bat, and then it all explodes into the hitting zone. Almost looks like he could drop that bat. He's holding it so lightly.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. And it's dropped by Castro. Got bowled over there by Franzen. Really surprised he was running in the first place, down 8-0. And the Cubs had him dead to rights, but ball got out of the mid of Castro. A little tap on the back of Franzen, and everybody's all right.
Castro got to the bag in pretty good position, but he just missed the ball. I was going to say the throw was tailing. It wasn't really tailing that much. He just got caught in the line of the base runner coming from first, maybe took his eye off the baseball momentarily, and then ultimately gets flipped by Franzen as he goes sliding into second base. Looks like everybody's okay.
Ball one to Hunter, reached on an error. And the second, but was caught stealing. Now to strike him out, throw him out, double play. Just got a piece of it. Well, they discussed strategy here with a 1-2 count on Torrey Hunter. Torrey Hunter does a lot of community service work. Outside of his regular job, he was the Branch Rickey Award winner and the Marvin Miller Man of the Year Award winner in '09. And that's out in the left center, and that'll put the Angels on the board as Franzen will come around to score. Hunter trying to stretch it into 2, and he will get in. He has been extremely aggressive on the bases all weekend. And even down big, he's able to get that extra base and get into scoring position. It's still early. We're only in the 4th inning. Bob, it just really looks like the Angels are not going to fundamentally change their aggressive ways, even down big.
We saw them change their aggressive ways up big in the ball game yesterday, but trailing, they're going to continue to do the things they feel they need to do to win games, and that's run the bases aggressively, put pressure on the defense. I thought perhaps that was an ill-advised attempt by Hunter, but he made it easily when Soriano's throw tailed away from Theriot.
And Sui pops it just behind the Cubs dugout.
You know, for a base runner, Len, that's one of those plays that's right in front of you. You take an aggressive turn at first base with every intention of going to second, and if you see the throws online, slam on the brakes and go back to first. If you see the throw is offline, you have a pretty good chance of making it.
Well, we're not in the team meetings, and we're not with the Angels in spring training, but it's very apparent that they feel comfortable that they're not going to be criticized by their manager or their coaching staff for being a little extra aggressive. And you kind of need your manager to have your back if you're going to make plays like that. And understand that sometimes you are going to make outs, but more often than not, it is played to their advantage. 1 and 2.
That's kind of an organization-wide theory of the Angels. They do it throughout their minor league system. I had an opportunity to watch the Cedar Rapids Colonels, the Angels representative in the Midwest League last year. And they do it up and down their system. They encourage their guys to be intelligently aggressive on the bases.
Hunter thought about third, but Soto kept the ball in front of him.
That's one of those long hops that hit high on the chest protector of Giovanni Soto. As long as you're in good position, you'd prefer that ball hit somewhere near your glove or the middle of your chest protector. But as long as you get a body part in front of it, that's all you can do.
Swing and a miss. Matsui has struck out twice today. And they get one, but that's it. 8-1.
The Craftsman Hammerhead, the only auto hammer worthy of the Craftsman name. Engineered to drive home nails with the touch of a button. More innovation, more great values. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Does Elmer Fudd have trouble with the letter R?
Be very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
Okay, cut. I'm hunting rabbits, Elmer. Let's try that again.
Shh. I'm hunting rabbits.
Cut. Rabbits.
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 Rabbits with an R.
Oh, this director's starting to rub me the wrong way.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
We're in the mood for baby back ribs for dinner tonight. Who's got them? It has to be all you can eat.
Thanks for dropping by.
Golden Corral is the first ever to offer all the fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs you want, all on our endless dinner buffet for around $10. Only at Golden Corral.
Feeling back pain? Dr. Scholl's back pain relief orthotics with shock guard technology give you immediate relief that lasts all day long. Dr. Scholl's pain relief is a step away.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large 2-topping inspired new pizza for just $5.99.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
Who's your favorite clown?
Let's check out our AT&T U-verse replay.
Hey, that's me!
Today we honor Bob Bell, who debuted as Chicago's Bozo on WGN June 20th, 1960, 51 years ago today. Bell retired in 1984. The show remained #1 in its time slot. Bob Bell passed away in December of 1997, but there's his grandson, Trevor Bell, a reliever with the Angels. Find out more of what's possible at ATT.com. AT&T Rethink Possible. Soto grounds out to Franzen. 50 years ago today, not 51. Let me get the calculator out. We have not seen Trevor Bell in this series yet, but we may today. Foul tip, strike one on Soriano. Fastball strike. O'Sullivan in relief of Joe Saunders, who gave up 8 runs. 5 were earned in just 2 2/3. In the hole and through. Wood couldn't get it. Second hit for Fonzie.
Easy pitch to make contact with. You can see the catcher was going down to block that slider low and away. We talked earlier in the game. Fonzie loves that low ball, able to golf that one through the left side for his second hit of the game.
10 hits for the Cubs, who had just 2 singles yesterday. Yeah, busted out big time here in Game 3. Driven out into center. Hunter coming over, lays out, makes the diving catch. The throw back to first is going to be late. That's why Torrey Hunter's won 9 consecutive Gold Gloves.
I thought that one was going to get down off the bat of Starlin Castro. Looked like it was slicing off the bat, but the wind may have held it up just enough for Torrey Hunter to come in and make a Marlon Byrd-like diving catch in center field. Boy, he's been doing that for a long time. He sets the bar pretty high for all center fielders.
Brings up Terrio with 2 outs, an infield hit, a walk, and 2 runs from the 8th spot. Inside corner, according to Marty Foster. This is a final game the Cubs will play against the AL at home. The final 6 interleague matchups will be on the road with the DH this coming week. Got Lou Piniella returning to Seattle, where he had so much success for a decade as a manager of the Mariners. You have Carlos Silva, who did not have a good go of it with the Mariners for 2 years. Pitching on Thursday with his 8-2 record. I'm not sure if Milton Bradley will talk to the Chicago media. I'm sure the requests will be made to get his comments on facing his former team. So a lot of interesting storylines going into this Cubs-Mariners matchup at Safeco.
Kind of anxious to see how many Cub fans show up out in Seattle. They're everywhere we go, but hey, interleague play. Seattle has a beautiful ballpark up there, Safeco Field. Good time of year to head to the Pacific Northwest.
The Great Northwest, state of Washington, producing Ryan Sandberg, Ron Santo. Unfortunately, Ronnie won't be able to make that trip. And he will be resting comfortably and checking us out as the Cubs will be in Seattle trying to wrap up this homestand with a win today, leading 8-1 after 4.
CC looks a bit rattled out there, and Dave Island is coming out for a visit.
Dave, I think we should put organic garden in that bullpen.
I think we should organize a group hug for all of New York.
Mobile classrooms, that was your idea, wasn't it?
How about a pizza party for all of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Senior prom for senior citizens. I don't know about that one.
Pepsi's spending millions to fund refreshing ideas. Vote for ideas you care about at refresheverything.com.
See that girl in the stands? She got some great ideas.
The Nikon D5000. An easy-to-use DSLR with HD movie. is perfect for low shooting and high shooting thanks to a swivel LCD. And it has an interchangeable Nikkor lens for head-turning images. The affordable D5000. And check out the acclaimed D90.
We have a pretty big family, and Olive Garden is one of the few places we can take them where everyone's happy.
Try our new Crest Belly dishes. Italian crepes stuffed with 5 cheeses with chicken and garlic cream sauce or with grilled Italian sausage, starting at just $10.95 at Olive Garden.
From Wagner comes a revolution in power painting. Optimus dual tip technology with a more refined spray pattern here. This dual tip design delivers better paint coverage here, superior control here, and a beautiful finish here. All of which adds more to life out here. The new Optimus Power Painter with dual tip technology only from Wagner. And now available at True Value. Get Wagner's latest high-performance power painters with Optimus dual tip technology.
It's been a while since I needed a tie.
Dad, you're gonna get this job. I know it.
Just for Men. Targets only the gray in 5 easy minutes.
How'd it go, Dad?
Honey, I think I'm going to need more ties.
Yes!
Just for Men.
Now time for the 5th inning, brought to you by Subway. Hey, Chicagoland viewers, how would you like to win 5 $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules. Called strike to Mike Napoli. Oh, happy birthday, and spending the day at the ballpark on Father's Day with Dad. Nicely done.
Didn't get any better than that. Well, how about this, Len? As if things weren't bad enough for the Pirates sitting 20 games under 500 going into play today, one of their pierogies got fired.
What's that all about?
Apparently posted some critical comments on his Facebook page, and was critical of the manager and general manager and front office, and we now have an unemployed pierogi.
A blue base hit for Napoli. The aforementioned Trevor Bell is up.
Now, that being said, Len, apparently it's easier for a pierogi to find employment after being fired than it is for a ball player who's been released, because he's already been offered a job with the Washington Wild Things, an independent minor league team.
As a what?
No, I'm
as
not.
a pierogi?
Actually, as a racing hot dog.
Okay.
So they'll have to change costume. And,
The 1-0 to Mathis, missed low. 2 balls, no strikes. I don't know if it was a good weekend or a bad one for Lady Gaga. I guess any publicity is good publicity when you're in her position, but she got into the Yankee clubhouse the other night after they lost. Wasn't supposed to be in there and now has been banned by Hal Steinbrenner. See, I thought it was Lady Gaga music was banned, but it actually was her.
what possible need would there be for Lady Gaga to go into a major league clubhouse after a loss?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Wanted to see what it looked like?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of teams don't even let the kids in the clubhouse after a loss.
Swing and a miss. Good comeback by Zambrano.
Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to www.wrigleyvillerooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF.
Wood checked his swing and tapped it foul.
got big plans for Father's Day tonight?
Just going to be at home, which would be nice.
Great.
Fly ball out into right center. And Marlon Byrd one-hands it, gets it back in quickly. And with Napoli back to first. How about you?
You'll never guess what we're having for dinner.
Pizza.
You got it right.
You get to pick. It's
That's
pizza.
It. You got it right. It's kind of funny when you are affiliated with a baseball team, either as a player, a coach, a manager, a broadcaster, and you spend so much of your summer traveling. And when you have an opportunity to celebrate a birthday or an anniversary or any kind of holiday, the best thing you can do is stay home. Or eat a pizza and then go home.
Sullivan taking the at bat. He's a career .333 hitter. 1 for 3.
I guarantee you the Angels aren't conceding anything in this ball game yet in the top of the 5th, trailing by 7, but allowing the pitcher to hit in this situation, I think, is a good example of lessons that Mike Scioscia has learned early in his managerial career. And I was told this when I was manager: you have to learn how to lose. You don't want to go through everybody in your bullpen trailing by 7 runs in a ball game. You want to get as many innings out of O'Sullivan today as you possibly can, so that bullpen is rested and ready to go again tomorrow. Would have been very easy to send a pinch hitter up there in this situation, bring in another relief pitcher, but sometimes you just have to concede that until we get closer in this ball game, I'm not going to expend any more arms.
Good contact by O'Sullivan, but he grounds out to Ryan Theriot. Big Z's been really good today. Get a nice look inside Wrigley Field from inside the scoreboard. 8-1 midway in the 5th.
Introducing Bud Light Lime in cans. The great taste of Bud Light Lime now goes wherever you need it to. Only the superior taste of Bud Light Lime with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor puts you in the summer state of mind. One taste and you'll find the summer state of mind. Bud Light Lime.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large 2-topping inspired new pizza for just $5.99.
There's that one that says free HD switch. Let's start there. Can't do it. Let me ask you this. Do you have any tools?
Expelliarmus! Protego!
Now, you can truly be part of Harry Potter's world, where magic becomes real and excitement awaits at every turn. Explore the wizarding world of Harry Potter. A world of magical new adventures only at Universal Orlando Resort, where you can be courageous, be outrageous, be extraordinary.
Start your morning.
Hey, what are you doing now? Thought I'd take a drive before work. Want to go?
Or make his day.
Yeah.
Maxwell House gives you a rich, full-flavored cup of coffee, so you can be good to the last drop.
Let's check out who's moving forward with Toyota. Driving that Toyota right through the sky. Cubs against the West, the NL and the AL West this season. They're going to drop this series, but they have won 5 other series against Western teams. Toyota and your local Toyota dealers, official partner of the Chicago Cubs. Zambrano knocked in a run, scored a run in the 3rd. He's been good at the plate here lately, back in the starting rotation. Now with 4 hits and 3 RBIs on the season. Batting lefty against the right-hander O'Sullivan. Story about the vuvuzelas, that's how you say it, those air horns that were given away at the Marlins game last night. Matsui made the catch.
How'd that go?
Well, Tampa Bay won the game 9-8 in 11 innings, and there was a lineup mix-up. There might have been a communication problem between Freddie Gonzalez and the home plate umpire Lance Barksdale, and Freddie eventually got tossed. But the Marlins front office said the promotion was a success. The players said otherwise. Dan Uggla said, quote, "It was brutal."
I wasn't even there, and I agree with Dan Uggla.
But a lot of people showed up, and that's what the Marlins wanted. 15,000 were given away.
There were a lot of happy parents this morning when their 9-year-old woke up and grabbed that horn. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
That will roll all the way to the wall for Marlon Byrd. And he'll stop with a double.
Now every Cub in the lineup has a base hit. Marlon Byrd had reached on a fielder's choice and scored back in the second inning, but he was 0 for his first 3. Perfectly splits that gap in left center field, and as usual, busting it out of that batter's box. He's not assuming a double. He knows he's got a double. He's thinking 3 until he sees that ball on its way back into the infield.
Bird. 1-0 to Jeff Baker. 2 hits. Also has reached on an error. Strike to make it 1-1. Very clever.
Yes, indeed.
First time I've seen that shirt.
Watch out. As most fans know, the Cubs are having your walk-up music played recently here at Wrigley Field rather than the organ music from Gary Pressey. Songs are either selected for the players or they select their own music. I think Marlon needs to go with that surfing bird.
I agree. See, the problem is if you pick your own music, you might not pick a song that has your name in it. Sounds a little selfish.
Yeah.
Probably want something that'll pump you up. But yeah, I like it. Baker flies out. Derek Lee coming up. He has 3 RBIs today. And you would pick Summer Breeze? Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah. Or Diamond Girl, you know, something similar to that. Really get the blood pumping.
Bridge over troubled water.
Dip into the Beatles catalog, play Help.
We can joke around, but I've thought a lot about it. I'd go with Disco Duck. That would be my choice. Oh, 2 on Derek Lee. Kick and the pitch. A ground ball into left. Bird will score 9-1. Derek with 4 RBIs. Well, it's funny how when you're swinging the bat well and the Cubs have all day, you find the holes.
And you know what, a big believer in the rhythm of this game, Len, that I am. And yesterday the Cubs were out of rhythm. Today the Angels are badly out of rhythm with this ball game. Well, that's a ball Kevin Franzen probably makes a play on 8 or 9 times out of 10, but just a half a step too late. Ball gets underneath his glove for a base hit and an RBI for D. Lee.
One strike to Nady. 1 for 3 with a run. Tigers beat Arizona today 3-1. Couple of 7th inning home runs did the trick. Brennan Bosch and Carlos Guillen. Made a winner out of Max Scherzer against his former team. He beat Ian Kennedy. Jose Valverde got his 16th save. His ERA is 0.59. Very nice pickup by Detroit. Trying to get within a half game of the Twins, who won that wild game in extras yesterday, and they're winners again today. Just went final 4-1 at Philadelphia, so they still lead by a game and a half. Carl Pavano went the distance to get his 8th win. He beat Roy Halladay in Philadelphia. Strike 3. Fastball on the outside corner. That didn't go well, but everything else has for the Cubs. 9-1.
What you did at this morning's meeting, that was pure poetry.
Stop it.
Hello, you spotted a $1 million accounting error that no one else noticed.
That was pretty sweet.
But you did have 8 layers of sweet, crunchy backup.
What can I say? You're the man. Or the little dude.
That's me. Stop mid-morning hunger with Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheat Cereal. An excellent source of fiber from 100% whole grain that helps you stay full so you can stay focused. Also, try chocolate little bites.
So how'd the meeting go?
Outstanding. I won them with my chocolate chip center.
Where do denture wearers get the confidence to be their effervescent selves? From Efferdent. Efferdent's powerful effervescence cleans dentures even in hard-to-reach places and kills odor-causing bacteria. Be your effervescent self with Efferdent.
No, not now. Come on, please.
Oh, great.
Nothing's worse than a dead battery. And nothing's more reliable than a Duralast battery. Engineered to start day in and day out, even under the most extreme conditions. Duralast. Proven tough. Only at AutoZone.
Fact. Every time you take Advil, you're taking the medicine doctors recommend most for joint pain. More than the medicines in Tylenol or Aleve. The medicine in Advil is the #1 doctor recommendation for joint pain. Relief doesn't get any better than this. Advil.
Hey, there's still time to get great seats, including bleachers, for Cubs games this summer. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Howie Kendrick with a leadoff single to begin the Angels' 6th. But the bat ended up well past the pitcher's mound. Franzen for the 3rd time. Fourth time out of 6 innings the Angels have had the leadoff man on base. And the one run they've scored actually came when they did not get the leadoff man on. That was the 4th. Slider missed, 2-0. Final in New York, Yankees 4-0 over the Mets on the Mark Teixeira grand slam. Sabathia over Santana. Yankees take 2 of 3. Florida beat Tampa Bay 4-1. Josh Johnson got his 8th win. He beat David Price. The White Sox won again 6-3 to sweep the Nationals. Well, the White Sox are red hot. They've won 6 in a row. They're back to 500 at 34-34.
And you know they have to be encouraged about the Jake Peavy outing.
Yeah, he was really good yesterday. He went the distance. Today it was Freddie Garcia, 7 innings to get his 8th win. Double play ball. They do get one and not the other. I'm not so sure. Gary Cederstrom said Derek was off the bag, I think. Actually, Bob, I thought that was the more clear out at first than at second.
It looked like they got him backwards there. It appeared on first sight that Terrio came off the bag at second and Derek Lee was on at first. Of course, we'll get the opportunity to check some replays here, but another tailor-made double play ball for Carlos Zambrano. Get another look. Castro with his feed to Terrio pulls him wide of the bag. Now he was on there. He kept his foot on long enough to get the force play at second. Certainly didn't look like it with the naked eye. And wow, how do you miss that one?
I think the key is where his foot is. I mean, the throw beat him. And it looked like his foot was right next to the bag.
It looked like he had at least his heel on the base there.
I think Gary Cederstrom said his foot was not on the base, but you can see his angle. Very tough for him to see that. Well, they did get one, and Abreu takes a strike.
Angelito Woodward from Harvey's today's hit the jackpot with Powerball contestant. If the Cubs hit a homer in the next inning, Angelito Woodard will win 100 chances to win the Powerball jackpot. Wednesday's jackpot worth $97 million.
Boy, it would have been nice to get 2. That was a 3-1 pitch. And they almost turned it into a 6-4-3 double play. I talked about all the hits Zambrano's given up. Well, today a lot of the contact has been right at middle infielders. 0-2 on Abreu.
And that's really a byproduct of the location of your pitches. Down in the zone where you're more likely to get ground balls. Out of the middle of the plate toward the corners where you're more likely to get weak ground balls. And fortunately for Big Z, a lot of them hit right at Castro at shortstop today. You know, Len, we've talked at length the first two games of this series about the Angels and the kind of offensive team they are. Aggressive base runners. They'll bunt, they'll run, they'll hit and run. But they're not the kind of team that's going to come back a lot of times because they don't have many home run hitters in their lineup. Certainly Bobby Abreu, Torrey Hunter, guys that are capable of going deep. Mike Napoli playing first base, a guy that's capable of going deep, but they don't really have the kind of ball club that can slug their way back into a game like this. That's why we've seen Mike Scioscia continue to start runners and do the things that they know they have to do to get back in the game. You saw that sign there, 3 fingers, and kind of rolled his hand. That means if it goes to 3-2, start the runner.
But it won't, as Abreu went around, according to Marty Foster. 6th strikeout for Z.
Slider down and in. Boy, just about every left-handed batter in Major League Baseball is a good low and in hitter. But if you can throw that slider that appears to be a strike low and in and have it move further down and in, you can get a lot of swinging strikes and check swings from those lefties.
Bounce to Baker, who gloves and throws to first. Bottom 6, all Cubs, 9-1. Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Pepsi. Every Pepsi refreshes the world. Submit your idea at refresheverything.com.
CC looks a bit rattled out there, and Dave Island is coming out for a visit.
Dave, I think we should put an organic garden in that bullpen.
I think we should organize a group hug for all of New York.
Mobile classrooms, that was your idea, wasn't it?
How about a pizza party for all of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Senior prom for senior citizens. I don't know about that one.
Pepsi's spending millions to fund refreshing ideas. Vote for ideas you care about at refresheverything.com.
See that girl in the stands? She got some great ideas.
Coastal Town.
Well, hello. It's your TV. I unplugged your cable so I can show you something genius. DirecTV. With DirecTV, now you only need one DVR for the whole house. Record a movie in the living room. Watch it in the bedroom, pause it, and pick it up in the bathroom because you can. I know what you're thinking. Dreams really do come true, and cable can't do that. So give them a call and hook me up. DirecTV. It'll change your life.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large 2-topping inspired new pizza for just $5.99.
No matter what life throws at you, you can take the heat till it turns into heartburn. You've got what it takes. Zantac. It's strong, fast, lasting relief. So let them turn up the heat. You can stop that heartburn cold. Zantac.
Today's game available in Spanish on your SAP audio setting, provided by WRTO, La Tremenda, Chicago's Spanish language sports leader. A called strike to Giovanni Soto.
Time now to take a look at our BMW drive of the ball game. Giovanni Soto back in the 3rd inning, launched his 8th home run of the season way back into the bleachers in left field. Only BMW offers ultimate service. Buy a BMW now and pay 0 maintenance costs for 4 years of 50,000 miles, whichever comes first.
Rainbow to deep center. Torrey Hunter on the warning track. Alberto Quintero has been taken out of the Astros game against Texas today. Got hit in the head with Andres Blanco's bat on the follow through on a swing. He was down on the ground for several minutes and apparently was bleeding from the right side of his head. He was able to get to his feet and was helped off the field. That's always very scary. And we do see it occasionally on a long swing. Franzen throws out Soriano. Cub fans, if you want to manage the game along with Lou, log on to WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and info while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio and play sets, hot tubs, and more.
We like more. And then I went down to the Angels clubhouse this morning to talk to Mike Scioscia, and he was raving about Starlin Castro. Really impressed by the at-bats he's seen from the youngster in this series. Specifically, just like the first pitch of this sequence, the slider that started on the outer third of the plate and then broke out of the zone. He said not many 20-year-old hitters are going to lay off of that pitch their first go-round in the big leagues.
Franzen will throw him out, and that's the first 1-2-3 inning for Angels pitchers today. Off to the 7th, 9-1 Cubs.
Think yours is the most beautiful baby? Prove it, and you could win $5,000 in the Beautiful Babies contest. It's free and open to babies 3 to 48 months at WGNAmerica.com.
Put a refreshing spin on your summer. Bud Light Lime. Superior drinkability. Ultimate refreshment. A splash of 100% natural lime flavor. One taste and you'll find the summer state of mind. Bud Light Lime.
Frosted strawberry as an ice cream sandwich. Chocolate fudge on a stick, please.
With the endless possibilities of Kellogg's Pop-Tarts, it's sure to be a picture-perfect summer. Pop-Tarts, made for fun.
Crunch, Wheat Thins. That's what's going to happen here. Because you're tasty with toasty whole grain. Wheat Thins. Toasted whole grain crunch. The crunch is calling.
Feeling back pain? Dr. Scholl's back pain relief orthotics with shock guard technology give you immediate relief that lasts all day long. Dr. Scholl's pain relief is a step away.
Let's check out today's Honda CR-V game summary. Rough day for left-hander Joe Saunders in his Wrigley debut. Could not get out of the third inning. Every starter has reached base today for the Cubs, who lead 9-1 on Father's Day. Visit your Honda dealer and test drive a 2010 Honda CR-V. Matsui against Zambrano in a leadoff single. We've seen that quite a bit from the Angels, but they have not been able to parlay that into runs.
Hey, Cub fans, this season it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago Cubs. You'll find great seats and great service on StubHub all season, so go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
The pitch to Mike Napoli is low and outside. Huge Cub fan and a wonderful actor, Joe Mantegna, will conduct the 7th inning stretch. He has done it a lot. Pretty much every year since '98.
Well, he even does it on days he doesn't come to Wrigley Field.
Yes, he does. You know, he's going to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame coming up next year. Well deserved.
Absolutely.
We'll talk with him about that. Base hit left field. We might see some bullpen action as the first two have gotten on. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
Hug it out with four best friends in the City of Angels. Hang with the crew of Entourage this fall on WGN America.
Here's Jeff Mathis before the Angels get out of town. Interesting note here. They apparently keep track of all the air miles every team will log during a given season. The team that will fly the most miles in 2010, the Angels, 50,509 air miles as they travel around the majors. Swing and a miss. The team that will fly the fewest, the White Sox, under 23,000. Andrew Kashner up for the Cubs. I would expect the Cubs would be pretty low on that list as well, being right in the middle of the Midwest. You've got the games against the White Sox and the Brewers. The Cubs don't even have to fly to those cities. Cardinals are nearby. The Reds. Pretty short flight to Pittsburgh. But we'll have a long one tomorrow to Seattle. Swing and a miss, strike three. That's 7 for Z.
A somewhat lopsided ball game, but that's a big first out of the inning with runners at first and second. You get the out, you keep the runners right where they're at, keeping that double play in order, and Carlos has thrown a boatload of ground balls today.
One strike on Brandon Wood. Two. So the first two got on. He came back, struck out Mathis, and is ahead of Wood 0-2. Wow. A Flyer fan decided to show up here in Chicago even after the Blackhawks beat them in the Stanley Cup Finals. Base hit right field. And the bases are loaded. And we'll see Juan Rivera batting for Sean O'Sullivan. This is old hat for Joe. He doesn't need the lyrics or anything. One of our favorites. O'Sullivan did a nice job. He gave up a run, but he gave Mike Scioscia 3 1/3. That was more than the starter Saunders could give the Angels today. One ball, no strikes. Cubs leading by 8, but the Angels have the bases loaded. And Francisco Rodriguez now up in their bullpen. How about a ground ball to Castro?
Why not?
Z will flip. They get one. They get two. 1, 2, 3 on the double play to end the inning.
The native Joe Montana.
All right, from the butt seats to the bleachers, let's hear it. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the park. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Let me root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old Cub game. Let's go get 'em! Woo!
So word's getting out that Geico can help people save in even more ways. On motorcycle insurance, RV, camper, boat insurance. Nice work, everyone.
Well, it's easy for him. He's a cute little lizard. Gecko, actually. With all due respect, if I was tiny and green and had a British accent, I'd have more folks paying attention to me, too. I mean, save money. Pip cheerio.
British? I thought you were Australian.
Well, it's funny you should ask, because actually, I'm from...
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Next on Tastemakers.
You need a space that says you. Horseradish and Dijon pulls it all together.
It's his sanctuary.
New Kraft Sandwich Shop. Give your sandwich a makeover.
No one is talking about ovarian cancer, so we have to talk, because every woman is at risk. Today, there's no cure and no proven technique for early detection. The promising research advances are on the horizon. Here's what you can do now. Talk to your doctor. Ask lots of questions, because you need to know the symptoms and the risk factors. The Ovarian Cancer Research Fund. Call 1-800-873-9569 or visit ocrf.org. Promise me you'll talk about this, and I know we can find a cure.
Big Z getting ready to hit here in the bottom of the 7th. Some changes now for the Angels. Reggie Willits is in center. And Rob Quinlan is in right. So Abreu and Hunter are out, and the new pitcher is Francisco Rodriguez. Joe Montana with us in the booth. Have you counted up how many times you have now conducted the stretch, Joe?
You know, I haven't. I've done it maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6. But I think I found that every time I throw the first pitch and I hit the dirt, the Cubs win. So maybe I'm going to have to start doing that more often.
Well, we've had a lot of fun today as the Cubs lead 9-1. It's been a very good performance from Carlos Zambrano. Beautiful afternoon. On Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, Joe.
Yes, thank you so much. And what a thrill. I mean, I'm here with one of my daughters, my wife, some of my relatives. We're here looking at Lake Michigan on a perfect day in Chicago. The Cubs are winning 9-1. Life is good, you know? Things couldn't be better.
Life is good. The 2-0 to Terrio. That missed ball 3.
Well, Joe, this was a very unselfish first pitch on your part. Yes. Given the fact that when you throw in the dirt, the Cubs win, so you took one for the team. I took one for the team. Nice going. I'll always do that. You can count on me.
That's a strike.
You know, they always tell you, they always say it's further than it looks, you know, throw it high. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay. And you really think you've got enough on it, and it's a little further from the mound of the plate than you think. Some pitchers feel the same way. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we had a couple of your buddies, the super fans here the other day.
Right.
And we heard about the big performance of the Bears movie that wasn't, and we want to know how the reading went.
It went terrific. We had a little help from Ryan Dempster, which really helped. You know, he's got another career as an actor. You know, later on when he's. Oh, here we go.
Base hit for Terrio.
But it was a wonderful evening. You know, the proceeds went to charity to help autism. Both Rob Smigel and I have, you know, each of us have a child with autism, and so we both are supportive of groups that are supportive of, you know, trying to cure and deal with children with that. So it was a wonderful event. We had 2 sold-out audiences. Mike Ditka, of course, was there. Keith Van Horn. It was a big night for Chicago sports stars.
And a strike to Big Z. So, yeah, Dempster not afraid to perform in public, whether it's on the Wrigley Field mound or a comedy club or Park West.
He was terrific. He was terrific. I told him, bring him on Criminal Minds, we'll stick a knife in his chest and make him be a body or something.
A base hit for Carlos. Oh, I know he'd jump at that.
Yeah.
So 2 on with nobody out, and Marlon Byrd digging in. We had the numbers from yesterday and today, a tale of 2 very different days. 12-0 Angels yesterday, and Cubs have really turned it around today, but that's baseball, isn't it, Joe?
That is baseball. You know, that's why it keeps drawing all these great fans here year after year, century after century, and hopefully this is our century. The 20th century wasn't great for the Cubs, at least the last 2/3 of it, you know, but this century is we're gonna turn it around.
In the dirt. They keep track out there in Sheffield. 1 year since the last division championship. Cubs won 2 straight under Lou Piniella. And a long way to go this year. But the Cubs right now are thinking small picture. Just win today. Outside corner. That is a strike. We were out in the bleachers earlier this year. We were out in left center.
Oh,
we had a lot of fun. I
Those
know
are
you've
my
spent
people.
many a day out there.
Yep. Right there at right field bleachers, right center field, right up against the fence there in the center section. That's what all started. That's where I got my inspiration for the play 40 years ago.
Willits went back, now has to come in, and he will get there and make the catch. I'm sure you still have a lot of buddies who come out here every day out there. Huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, you still got your regulars out here. I don't know how many of the old bleacher bums guys are still out there, but they're certainly there in spirit, the new generation. And you know, that's what's great about Wrigley Field. I mean, some things change, some things don't. I look at it, you squint. When I squint a little bit, I still remember being a 5-year-old out here, and it really hasn't changed all that much. The same ivy, you know, the same scoreboard. So much of it is the same.
Jeff Baker has had a productive day with a couple of hits. I was talking with one of the Angels broadcasters, Terry Smith. This is the Angels' first trip here to Wrigley Field, and on the radio yesterday he had a little roundtable. He was asking all the visiting media, you know, Fenway or Wrigley, and they pretty much all agreed Wrigley.
Oh,
so I
yeah.
thought that was pretty good. American League team coming in, and
that's right.
Thumbs up.
That's right. I mean, thank God for Fenway and Wrigley, because at least each league has that one, you know, jewel that they can say this is the way baseball was, is, and hopefully will be, you know, in terms of a classic ballpark.
Yeah, even Angels manager Mike Scioscia and his coaching staff suggested to the players who had never been here before not only to enjoy Wrigley Field, but to enjoy Wrigleyville. And from the way they played defense today, I think they maybe did last night.
They might indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I had Lee Mazzilli's a good friend of mine, and I remember when the dugout, the Yankee dugout, before they came to Wrigley a few years ago, and I told those young players, I said, wait till you get to Wrigley. You're going to experience something like you've never experienced. And I saw them later on in the season. They said, Mr. Montaigne, you were right. Going to Wrigley Field, even for a Yankee, was quite an event. That was an incredible visit that they had when they came here.
First 2 got on. Now 1 out. And it's 2-2 on Jeff Baker. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Ronnie's in a good mood today, right? The Cubs are up 9-1. I know you visit Pat and Ron before you come over here.
I did indeed. It's always great to see Pat and Ron. Ron's son Jeff and I are very close. You know, we did that film, This Old Cub, a few years back, which is really his son's homage to his dad, which is just so wonderful and so fitting. And our next step is to, you know, still trying to get Ron in that Hall of Fame where he belongs.
Hopefully the next time he's up, he will be in. Congrats on the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Well deserved, Joe. Always a great time to have you here at the ballpark.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks,
Thank you.
You know, I hate Chinese checkers, but I love French fries. I hate Belgian waffles, love German shepherds. Can't stand English muffins. Here's a real puzzler. Hate Danish cheese, love cheese Danish.
Oh, I hate it when he's like that.
What, smug?
No, breathing.
From Wagner comes a revolution in power painting. Optimus dual tip technology with a more refined spray pattern here. This dual tip design delivers better paint coverage here, superior control here, and a beautiful finish here. All of which adds more to life out here. The new Optimus Power Painter with dual tip technology only from Wagner. And now available at True Value. Get Wagner's latest high-performance power painters with Optimus dual tip technology.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large 2-topping inspired new pizza for just $5.99.
The Coastal Town.
Well, hello. It's your TV. I unplugged your cable so I can show you something genius. DirecTV. With DirecTV, now you only need one DVR for the whole house. Record a movie in the living room. Watch it in the bedroom, pause it, and pick it up in the bathroom because you can. I know what you're thinking. Dreams really do come true, and cable can't do that. So give them a call and hook me up. DirecTV. It'll change your life.
Heard the news about frequent heartburn? There's a new 24-hour heartburn formula. It's called Zagrad OTC. It's been proven in a clinical study to provide acid control that's greater and faster than Prevacid for all day and all night relief. Try Zagrad OTC.
Shudder at a 3D film and Dodge moving dinos at a robotic encounter you'll never forget now at the Field Museum. Suescapes. For tickets and more info, go to suescapes.com. Here's rookie right-hander Andrew Kashner with the Cubs up 9-1 in the 8th.
Right, very encouraging outing by Carlos Zambrano today. We talked about his walks and how the pitch count gets elevated quickly. A lot of runners on base, only 1 base on balls in the game today. That came all the way back in the 1st inning, and he very quickly picked Bobby Abreu off of second base to eliminate that base runner. Had a good sinking, tailing fastball in the zone pretty much all day long.
2-1 to Kendrick. Larry Rothschild has to be also very pleased with what Z accomplished in his 7 innings. 2-2, 96. And that buzzer from Andrew Kashner's at a good start to his major league career. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Don't miss your chance to be part of the brand new PNC Club of Chicago. The new club, located down the third base line, offers high-end catering, a top-shelf bar, indoor and outdoor seating, and other benefits that allow for a truly all-inclusive game day experience. Membership also includes parking for every home game. To reserve your season tickets in the PNC Club of Chicago, call 773-404-4200.
Ball 1 to Franzen. The other thing Carlos Zambrano did, he kept Bobby Abreu hitless, which is hard to do at this ballpark. In 32 career games here, it's only the 6th time Abreu has not had at least 1 hit. One and 2 to Franzen. Gets past Terrio and into right.
Dalen, it's remarkable how many times with 2 strikes these Angel hitters give in and go to the opposite field. We've seen a number of 2-strike base hits to the opposite field. It seems to make a lot of sense. Most of the time with 2 strikes, a pitcher's going to try to get you out away, either with a breaking ball or maybe a fastball on the outside corner, and they've got some opposite field base hits in those 2-strike counts.
Reggie Willits came into play center in the last half inning. Reggie Willits has the longest homerless drought among active non-pitchers, 323 games with an at-bat without a home run. Fly ball out to center. Marlon Byrd makes the grab to get Willits.
Bud Light rocks Chicago with the return of the Bud Light Concert Series. Brad Paisley is playing the First Midwest Bank Amphitheater July 16th. Get your tickets at livenation.com. The Summer Concert Series is brought to you by Bud Light. Live music in Bud Light. Here we go.
Quinlan bounces. Terrio fields in short right, and Cashner gives the Cubs a scoreless 8th. 9-1 they lead.
CC looks a bit rattled out there, and Dave Island is coming out for a visit.
Dave, I think we should put an organic garden in that bullpen.
I think we should organize a group hug for all of New York.
Mobile classrooms, that was your idea, wasn't it?
How about a pizza party for all of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Senior prom for senior citizens. I don't know about that one.
Pepsi's spending millions to fund refreshing ideas. Vote for ideas you care about at refresheverything.com.
See that girl in the stands? She got some great ideas.
Regular Kool-Aid goes almost 3 times further than soda. Kool-Aid, delivering more smiles per gallon.
Thank you so much. Namaste. Bye-bye. Hey, just got off the phone with a sweet gal, fender bender. Think I got her to a good place.
Oh, then you'll love this. Online repair monitoring. After an accident, Esurance customers can get daily updates with photos of their car repairs in progress.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
That's really great.
Thanks.
I mean, really great.
Chad, I don't want to talk about feelings.
Sure you do.
Go to esurance.com or call today.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large 2-topping Inspired new pizza for just $5.99.
Think yours is the most beautiful baby? Prove it, and you could win $5,000 in the Beautiful Babies contest. It's free and open to babies 3 to 48 months at WGNAmerica.com.
It's flash dance, Dave. She's a welder, isn't she?
A welder? Well, I hope she dances better than she welds. I mean, look at that. Her mix is all
Shut up, Dave.
Cubs leading the Angels 9-1 in the 8th. You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN, your official summer baseball station. Angels closer Brian Fuentes getting an inning of work with his team down big. Ball 1 to Xavier Nady. Bob, congrats to the AA Tennessee Smokies. They clinched the first half Southern League North Division Championship. So they will be in the playoffs. They are 41-27. The Iowa Cubs tied for first in the American Northern Division of the Pacific Coast League after a 3-2 win in 14 innings last night. Aramis Ramirez with Peoria today, 1 for 3, a walk, a strikeout, a run, and an RBI. 1 for 6 for the 2 games over the weekend.
Yeah, Bill Dancy, the manager of the Tennessee Smokies in his first year with the Cubs organization, along with Dennis Llewellyn, the pitching coach, Tom Byers, the hitting coach. That's quite an accomplishment. Tell you, it's not as easy to win ball games in the minor leagues as you might think, because your roster is constantly fluid. Guys going up, guys going down. It's tough to maintain any kind of continuity, and if you win a half or a season in the minor leagues, you've done something.
Well, they lost their 2 best players, Starlin Castro and Andrew Cashner, and still won the first half. inside to Nady to make it 3-2. Cashner and Castro are here and maybe to stay. Fair ball through the bullpen. And that's a leadoff double. Now, if this team could carry it through into Seattle, that would be nice because some tough pitching matchups against this Cubs offense. Hopefully they've hit on something today.
Well, you certainly hope so. And a lot of hitting is feel. I talk about it all the time. Sometimes all it takes is one line drive. Square one pitch up, get it off the barrel of the bat. Remember what it feels like for that timing to come together at exactly the right instant. And hopefully the Cubs are having that feeling here today and can take it with them to Seattle.
A fastball strike. Carlos Marmol is going to get the ninth. Unless Lou sends Cashner back out there. We'll see.
I think if we were playing against a team that we were going to see again in the future this year, you probably wouldn't see Carlos Marmol come into the ball game. You'd want to save him and not give the opposing team a good look at him in an 8-run ball game. But since the Cubs aren't going to see the Angels anymore, Carlos Marmol needs a little bit of work. They're getting him ready just in case.
The 0-2 got him. One out in the Cubs' 8th. Fuentes went on the DL after just one appearance, a save on opening day, and a mid-back strain, missed a minimum 15. Led the majors last year with 48 saves and 55 tries. He had big shoes to fill. Francisco Rodriguez, who had set the major league record for strikeouts. Or saves, rather.
A big difference for Fuentes this year is he's given up 5 home runs already in just over 16 innings of work. Last year he gave up 6 all year in 55 innings of work.
4-time All-Star and 4 30 save seasons for the lefty. Soriano high and deep. Willits getting some help from the wind. And he's going to throw to third, and Nady will get in standing. 2 outs. Starlin Castro with a runner at third. Well, they've gone to the bottom of the ninth. Andrew Bailey trying to save it for the A's, who lead the Cardinals 3-2. Matt Holliday with 2 home runs in that one for the Cardinals. Reds and Mariners are scoreless in the 4th. Aaron Harang has not allowed a hit through 3. He is battling Ryan Rollins-Smith. A left-hander from Australia. Went into that one 0-6 for the Mariners this season. Way outside. 3-0. Atlanta won again. How about the Braves? They have now won 14 of 15 at home. They're 24-7 at Turner Field. They beat the Royals 8-5. Troy Gloss walked 4 times. I guess now teams have decided they don't even want to pitch to him. Atlanta with 42 wins. And the best record in the entire National League. Ball 4. Pirates have a winning streak, 2 games after snapping a 12-game losing streak, 5-3 over the Indians.
Maybe it was that negative pierogi that was dragging them down.
I think so. Deep to left for Ryan Theriot. Off the wall. He just missed what would have been his first home run. As it is, he has his 3rd hit. Nady in to make it 10-1.
Ontario gets a fastball down and in and tries to ambush Brian Fuentes. Just get about halfway up that wall in left field. Maybe a little bit too much topspin on that drive off the bat of Ryan Theriot, but good to see his bat coming alive here today.
First time the Cubs have hit double digits since May 7th against the Reds. Tyler Colvin will hit for Andrew Kashner. Fuentes has a sign from Mathis. 1-1. Giants beat the Blue Jays 9-6 in Toronto. Base hit. And another one in, and Mike Quaddy was going to hold Ryan Theriot, and Ryan just kind of kept jogging through the stop sign. And, you know, the other thing about this, Bob, you don't want to take away an RBI from Tyler Colvin. This gets a little tricky here.
Yeah, it really does.
Mike Quaddy's trying to do the right thing, and Ryan Theriot could have basically walked home. They were not even going to try to throw him out. So it's now 12-1.
Boy, nice swing by Tyler Colvin against a tough left-hander, and Brian Fuentes stayed in there with that front shoulder and drove that ball with authority into right field. Castro walks home easily from third, and you could clearly see Mike Quaddy holding up Ryan Theriot, and he did stop about 1/3 of the way down the line, but when he saw the throw go through to second base, he walked on home.
Marlon Byrd into the left field corner. They are pouring it on. Colvin told to stop at third. Four hits in the inning.
Boy, this is a manager's worst nightmare. You bring your closer into a ball game just to get a little bit of work, keep him sharp, and he starts to get his brains beat in, and now they're going to have to get another relief pitcher up in the bullpen, and Mike Scioscia is going to make a long, slow walk out to that mound.
That's Trevor Bell, who was up earlier. And he's going to come in. So the closer Fuentes could only get 2 outs, giving up 3 runs, and the inning's still alive. 12-1 Cubs in the 8th.
Welcome to my new abode. This is awesome. Wow.
Who knew you were so environmentally responsible?
Yeah. Enviro what?
Your house made of empty Bud Light cans.
Oh, they're not empty. Oh, here we go.
Yeah! There's Bud Light in the fridge made of Bud Light.
It's the sure sign of a good time. Just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Look, a window. Sorry, honey.
Happy 25th birthday, Blizzard!
Check it out! Every party needs a clown, right?
I didn't have a clown at my birthday. Me neither.
Turning 9 does not compare with being the world's greatest treat for 25 years, okay?
Clowns are earned, kids.
We are.
Celebrate the Blizzard's 25th with the Strawberry Golden Oreo Blizzard with Golden Oreo cookies and strawberries. Then follow the party tour at DQ.com. And don't forget to bring home a cake for Dad this Father's Day.
The Craftsman Hammerhead, the only auto hammer worthy of the Craftsman name. Engineered to drive home nails with the touch of a button. More innovation, more great values. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
Think yours is the most beautiful baby? Prove it, and you could win $5,000. It's free and open to babies 3 to 48 months. But hurry, contest ends June 25th. Go to WGNAmerica.com now.
We mean this in the best possible way. It's Bozo's grandson, as we talked about earlier. Pretty neat story. Trevor Bell trying to get the final out of the 8th inning.
Well, Trevor Bell has done some acting himself. He's been in television commercials since he was 8 years old. Today playing the role of a mop-up man. Boy, Brian Fuentes just giving up line drive after line drive in what was supposed to be just a quick inning of work for him. Trevor Bell coming in here trying to shut down these Cubs.
Facing Jeff Baker, 2 on, 3 in. Aggressive hack, and he fouled it back to the netting. Tyler Colvin just able to elude that rocket.
That's why that base runner leads off in foul territory in the event that he is struck by a batted ball. It just goes as a foul ball. If he happens to be standing in fair territory, he would be called out.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. Trevor Bell strikes out Jeff Baker. Off to the 9th. Here comes Marmol. 12-1 Cubs.
HealthKey.com, your new resource for a healthy body, mind, and spirit. Find answers to questions about surgery, heart disease, counting calories, handling depression after job loss, and so much more at HealthKey.com. The health answers you need to unlock your potential for life at HealthKey.com.
Listen up! I found the plane's radio equipment. I think we can get off this island.
Everyone listen up! I found the plane's beverage cart, and it's full of Bud Light.
Here we go.
We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay.
It's the sure sign of a good time. It's just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
We've been bought by Sunflash. They're sharks. Man, they're young.
They're in the lobby.
Just for Men targets only the gray in 5 easy minutes.
Sunflash.
Nice.
Just for men. Live forward.
The Craftsman Hammerhead, the only auto hammer worthy of the Craftsman name. Engineered to drive home nails with the touch of a button. More innovation, more great values. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
Where do denture wearers get the confidence to be their effervescent selves? From Efferdent. Efferdent's powerful effervescence cleans dentures even in hard-to-reach places and kills odor-causing bacteria. Efferdent. And try zinc-free EfferGrip adhesive.
Colvin stays in and plays right after singling home a couple as a pinch hitter, and the closer Carlos Marmolon to protect an 11-run lead. Just doing the math here. No, this is not a save spot. Not just yet. Look at the strikeouts. 56 in under 31 innings.
Just crazy numbers. Those are fantasy league numbers.
Hideki Matsui to lead it off. .96 on that fastball from Marmol. That's deep to right. Colvin back on it, and it's off the wall right over the 368 marker, and a leadoff double. I think leadoff hits have actually been good for the Cubs today. Every time the Angels have had a leadoff hit, they have not scored.
Hey, Hideki Matsui can turn around a fastball. No question about it. Marmol with a 96-mile-an-hour heater, unfortunately, right over the middle of the plate, and Matsui bangs it about halfway up the wall in right field.
The hitting mechanics of guys from Japan are just incredibly consistent. Do you see the bat flip by Matsui? I mean, exactly what Kosuke does.
I mean, for that matter, the pitching mechanics for a lot of the pitchers that come over from the Japanese professional leagues, they always have some kind of a little hitch in their windup. Get a look at that bat toss you're talking about right here at the end of the swing.
Something as simple as that.
Holds his bat very upright as he takes his stance and looks out toward the mound, very similar to Kosuke.
One and two to Napoli, who has 2 hits. They've both been singles. The Angels have 1 run on 10 hits. The Cubs with 12 runs on 18. Pulled that slider way outside. It's 3-2. I'm going to give a shout out to Mike Phelan of Rockford, a 40-year Cub fan. Napoli waited back and fouled off that slider. Oakland held on and beat the Cardinals today. So the first place team in this division has lost. 3-2. Napoli swings and misses. Strike 3. Chance for the Cubs to get to within 7 in the division.
Hey, you've heard of a fadeaway jump shot in basketball. This is a fadeaway swing. Slider starting on the inside part of the plate, ending up on the outside corner, and Napoli comes up empty.
Inside to Mathis. Talking about songs that guys request. Would Jeff Mathis request Chances Are? Or something by Johnny Mathis?
I'm guessing no.
There's not a real rocked up version, cover version of that song by like Metallica.
Sounds like a job for the Lennon Bob Band.
Slider strike, 2-1. Strike 3. 3 straight sliders. And 2 outs in the inning.
Boy, 2 plus weapons available for Carlos Marmol. The fastball in the upper 90s, and that slider is as good as any in the game.
Brandon Wood hooks it foul.
You know, it's easy just to talk about Marmol stuff, but his delivery is so herky-jerky. I think it's tough for hitters to pick him up as well. And when you're facing a closer for 1 inning at a time, it's going to be a tough duty.
Slider. 2-2. High fly to left. Soriano backpedaling on the warning track. Cubs win 12-1 the final. Boy, did they need this one. And I think in the manner in which they won, lots of offense, excellent starting pitching. They put pressure on the Angels defense and win this one running away 12-1.
Been a long time since the Cubs have had a laugher. Got everybody involved in the offense today. Great start by Carlos Marmol. 2 good innings of relief from Cashner and Marmol. Great game all the way around.
Finish a homestand 4-5. They win today 12-1. And we'll be back to Wrigley in a moment.
Time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large 2-topping inspired new pizza for just $5.99.
I know you love this car. A lot of memories. I'm glad you're all right.
At The Hartford, we hear from our AARP auto insurance customers all the time. But not just about savings and benefits for drivers 50 and over. Usually, they just want to thank us for making a difficult time a little less difficult.
It's perfect. Where'd you find it?
I was just driving up here. There's
the AARP auto insurance program from The Hartford.
We have a pretty big family, and Olive Garden's one of the few places we can take them where everyone's happy.
Try our new Crest Belly dishes. Italian crepes stuffed with 5 cheeses with chicken and garlic cream sauce or with grilled Italian sausage, starting at just $10.95 at Olive Garden.
The Craftsman Cordless Multi-Tool. The power and versatility of 6 tools packed into one. More innovation, more great values. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
No matter what life throws at you, you can take the heat till it turns into heartburn. You've got what it takes. Zantac. It's strong, fast, lasting relief. So let them turn up the heat. You can stop that heartburn cold. Zantac.
Well, guys, that asteroid is going to destroy the Earth.
There's only one thing left to do.
And here we go.
It's the sure sign of a good time. The just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
We're saved.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with any 2 toppings for $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large 2-topping inspired new pizza for just $5.99.
I just wanted to look around. So I went on Ancestry.com to see if I could find my great-grandfather. It was unbelievable. I found all kinds of historical documents, including a census record that showed that he was the town's only doctor. It's funny, no one ever told me that.
Visit Ancestry.com and discover the world's largest online family history resource.
You really don't have to know what you're looking for. You just have to start looking.
Your discovery starts right now on Ancestry.com.
There's complete. And then there's most complete. Like what you get from Centrum Ultra Men's, the most complete multivitamin for men. It has antioxidants to help support your immunity and nutrients like vitamin D for your colon. Centrum Ultra Men's.
No, not now. Come on, please.
Oh, great.
Nothing's worse than a dead battery. And nothing's more reliable than a Duralast battery. Engineered to start day in and day out, even under the most extreme conditions. Duralast. Proven tough. Only at AutoZone.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. By Pepsi. Every Pepsi refreshes the world. Submit your idea at refresheverything.com. And by Illinois Lottery's newest game, Powerball Wednesday and Saturday jackpot start at $20 million. Today's Budweiser plays of the game. Carlos Zambrano did it all today. Big pickoff to end the top of the first. And a couple of his 7 strikeouts on the day. 7 innings, 1 run as the Cubs win 12-1. Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp finish. It's what we do. We're back on WGN Wednesday night when the Cubs head to Seattle to face the Mariners in Game 2 of a 3-game series. Our broadcast starts at 9 Central. Wills against Lee on the mound. Enjoy the rest of your Father's Day. The Cubs win 12-1.
Look at that. Not bad, huh?
Yeah, fastest growing for the past 5 years. Obviously, people love saving money.
Welcome to the conference. Here's your name tag, sir. And for you.
No, I'll be okay, thanks.
But how will people know who you are?
You mean the gecko?
Here, let me help you.
Really, it's fine. Yeah.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Over 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy.
They like that vehicles like the 2010 Malibu, Traverse, and Silverado Half-Ton have each been named a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. They like that Chevy backs the quality with a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. They're not just trading in, they're trading up. Qualified lessees now get a low-mileage lease on this Malibu LS for around $199 a month. Call for details. The switch to Chevy starts at ChevyDealer.com.
Where do denture wearers get the confidence to be their effervescent selves? From Efferdent's powerful effervescence cleans dentures even in hard-to-reach places and kills odor-causing bacteria. Be your effervescent self with Efferdent.
There comes a time when you know you've got to make a change.